gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back, John. It's very exciting. It's a very exciting day here on the Rage Select podcast.
I've been drinking green tea all day, and I'm pumped.
It's very is that what? Is
yeah,
that, is
I'm
that,
ready. Let's do this. Come on.
I didn't even know this until I was looking up the news stories for today.
Yeah?
But today is not only the day that people get to see Sunday streaming. Not only is it the day they get to listen to the Rage Select podcast. Fucking Game of Thrones is on tonight.
Oh, I'm less pumped for that.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't watch it, man. I'm sorry.
Why not? Why
I don't have what is it? Showtime?
It's Jon
what is it?
Snow.
Showtime, HBO? I don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
I'm sure that
So I just stopped not to watch it. And I don't want to go. I don't feel like going to look for it online, and I don't want to spend on their horribly overpriced Blu-rays and DVDs.
Yeah, I
so
can see that.
I just don't watch it.
But it's so good.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that it's not good.
So good. All right, well, welcome. Pause Game of Thrones for a minute because it's time for the podcast, and get your priorities straight. And as always, I am Jeff, and John, you are here this week.
I'm here.
It's been. I was looking at the kind of the rundown. It's been a while. I don't have like some kind of rotation where it's like, and then it's going to be Nick, and then it's going to be Aaron, and then it's going to be. It's just I look up and I go, who hasn't been on in a while? And it'd be like, okay.
You're like, yeah, it's like John hasn't been on the podcast in a while, but he's been over at my house a lot lately, so
yeah.
I don't know if I want to invite him over again.
Yeah, I'm sick of you, man. Get the fuck out of here. No. Actually, I was hoping that you would come over because I know that last weekend I didn't do anything but drink obscenely and hide indoors.
Yeah.
I've got this problem right now, John, where you're like...
So you're admitting you have a problem.
Not that problem. It's a different problem. The first step is not admitting you have a problem. I live in Austin. We do not. We don't acknowledge
the entire
these
town
things
of
here.
Austin has a problem.
The entire all Austin's city motto should be like, nah, I'm fine.
I'm like the odd man out.
I can quit anytime I want. It's not a big deal. It's not a problem. No, my problem right now, I'm suffering from a definitely first world problem. It might even be higher than first world. It's like zeroth world, no world problem. Nobody has this problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so I beat Bloodborne, right?
Yeah.
And I want to go back and I want to play more Bloodborne. I want to kind of try to dig into it a little bit harder.
Well, you're in luck.
No, I'm not, because the same week the Bloodborne came out, Pillars of Eternity came out.
Yeah.
And about 6 hours into that, and I would really like to play it all the way to the end. But
Okay.
30 hours long. And then motherfucking this week, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin comes out.
Yeah.
I got RPG problems right now. And not only that, but that Xenoblade Chronicles for the 3DS came out.
Yes, this is also true.
Which
and next week, Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah, but Mortal Kombat X, that's not a big deal. Like, I could play
You
Mortal Kombat X.
shut your mouth.
No, not like... Are you psyched for Mortal Kombat X?
I'm actually really excited for it, yeah.
Okay, I know that like Aaron just can't. His skin is exploding.
I'm excited for it. My girlfriend Amanda's excited for it.
Yep.
She's like wanting to kick my ass because she's awesome at Mortal Kombat.
Is that what we're gonna do next week? Is just all Mortal Kombat all week?
That's up to you, man.
Okay, but no, I just like I need more time. I feel like
I know that problem.
The Twilight Zone. I mean, and the problem that I'm having is that it's like my entire job is sitting around playing video games, right?
Yeah.
But I just like I can't. I need to sit down and just mainline one of these things, but it's really, really difficult. Yeah. And it sounds so stupid when I say it out loud.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
Other people have...
Oh, boo-hoo. You play video games all day.
Yeah, like real problems. It's like, there's too many video games. But no, I mean, Mortal Kombat, what? The story for Mortal Kombat is going to be... I mean, if it's the same as 9, it's going to be, what, 10 hours long?
Something like that.
And then it's like, all right, cool. But, I'm not going to play online. Like, what am I, masochist?
Maybe.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You play Dark Souls.
Well, but that's different. There's a level of accomplishment in Dark Souls that I just do not get out of fighting games.
Okay, I get it.
I know why I died when I die in Dark Souls.
Okay.
In a lot of these games. Of course, I don't know, man. Mortal Kombat's always kind of been my jam because it's not quite as frenetic as the Capcom games.
True.
Like, I do usually know why I got my ass kicked in Mortal Kombat as opposed to the whole Marvel vs. Capcom where the screen just lights up with fire and color, and then I'm dead, and yeah, I don't have any fucking clue what happened.
All right.
But no, anyway, I'm glad that you're here because you you went out into the outside world.
Yeah, I did things.
And you did some stuff. Would you like to tell?
Which is why I wasn't on Sunday streaming last week.
Yeah, tell the good people about the stuff.
I went to a concert.
Okay,
I went
who'd you see?
I went to go see Bad Religion.
Oh man,
which I realized it's funny because we were standing in line and I realized that it had actually been a total of 15 years since the last time I saw Bad Religion in concert.
It's funny because I think I remember really liking one of their songs when I was like 18, but I just haven't.
They have a lot of good songs.
I'm sure they do.
They fucking rocked. And the lead singer came out dressed in a polo shirt. Turns out he's a professor at UCLA.
Really?
Yeah, and it's when he's not being in the band.
Okay.
And he looks like. Do you know who Bill Corbett is from Riff Tracks? Or Mystery Science Theater 3000. He's the guy who...
Sort of, yeah.
He looks like a skinnier version of him.
Okay.
Like the lead singer because his hair's gone white and... It's kind of hilarious.
Okay.
The lead singer of Bad Religion.
Okay.
But still, it was awesome concert. Great. It was really fun. It was at Emo's Austin here in town, which it's at a different. Like the last time I'd been to Emo's, they were down on 6th Street, but now they're like on Riverside. They're completely new.
I thought it was like the annex. Or is that like full on Emo's?
That
now?
is
that just where Emo's
that's
is?
the main Emo's location.
Because there used to be a bar called the Back Room.
Yeah. No, that place
that had literally the worst bathrooms in all of North America.
Yeah. But I thought it was awesome because this time I can always remember the date of this concert because of the fact that it was on Easter.
Right. Yeah.
I went to see Bad Religion on Easter, and the last time's memorable because it was the night that the final episode of 90210 aired. And I know that because the lead singer made fun of everyone in the crowd because the venue that it was at was a fucking rich kid neighborhood.
Okay.
And it was a terrible venue for a punk show. And all he did was just make fun of the people in the front because they were all sitting down.
Okay.
Because it was a pavilion where it was like there was no like pit up front. Like all the people who bought cheap tickets and were like actual punk rockers and actually like moshing and stuff like that or creating a pit were all on this hill like really far away from the actual stage.
Okay, so they had like seating in the front, but then like standing room in the back, and that was like where the actual action was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he was just sitting there like between songs, he would just make fun of the people up front because they weren't doing anything. And he was like, "I'm really glad that you guys decided to come spend the night with us instead of watching the series finale of 90210."
Austin has. I mean, I've talked about this a few times in the past, but I think Austin has a really bad. There's a good section of Austin that has a really bad attitude about going to shows.
Yeah.
Like I've been to South by shows before in bars where the place is just completely packed. Band is fantastic, and their crowd leaves like a good 6 feet between them and the front of the stage.
No, not this place.
Either that, or then they'll all stand with their arms crossed, nodding their heads.
Again,
like
not at this place. This was like going to a metal show or going to a punk rock show where there's a pit, there's people going at it in the pit. Fights almost break out. A fight almost broke out like 2 feet from us because a guy was like being a one-man mosh pit and kept almost headbutting this girl behind her, and her boyfriend like kept getting really pissed off.
Sure.
And like pushing the guy like, "Hey man, watch it." But the guy was very clearly drunk and oblivious to the fact that he was almost headbutting this girl. And it was kind of hilarious because the guy's all being like the happy like, "I love you, man. I'm singing along with the band and I'm moshing around and you're just moshing around with me." And the guy's like, "No, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And he's like, "Yeah, man, let's just keep moshing." Woo! It was literally hilarious. And then eventually the girlfriend's like, "No, he's drunk. Just let him be. Let him be." And the boyfriend's like, "All right, fine."
I was talking with somebody about this last weekend about how there was I remember going to shows like back in the, when I was in high school in the 90s and like kind of when the mosh pits and stuff were they weren't new, right? But they were established. But there was a time when that shit turned real dark, right? Where mosh pits like they would start to outlaw them at shows because they got these groups of like doucheholes who would just come in because they would use it as an excuse to just punch other people in the face, right? Instead of because you're supposed to just kind of like bump into each other and jump up and down and run around and kind of, you're just being stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of carte blanche to be stupid. But I guess that's settled down because I heard a friend of mine went to Chaos in Tejas, which is a big like kind of. It's like I think it was like a 3-day weekend South by, but it's all punk rock.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying that one year he was at Emo's for that, and that the clientele just trashed Emo's at some point. Like,
wow,
some band was playing, and like somehow they were just picking up anything that wasn't nailed down and just destroying it.
Well, everything. What the thing is, this place is huge. The indoor of this place is huge.
Yeah.
And everything is nailed down, so
Okay.
nothing could be picked up.
Like he was like, I almost got hit with a TV. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a TV at Emo's.
Yeah, there's now, instead of a TV, it's a projector mounted to the ceiling.
Okay.
So it's like you can't even get to it because you can't reach it.
Oh, okay.
You'd have to like pile 3 people high to get to it.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, but yeah, so that they were good. Opening for him was Jason, what band Jason likes, Riverboat Gamblers.
Jason wants to have sex with and marry the Riverboat
Yeah,
Gamblers.
they're
he will
local
not shut up about that.
They're a local Austin band. I've got to admit, they're pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him. I mean, I know they've been around forever. I do know that every time we talk about doing anything, Jason's like, I'll bring the Riverboat Gamblers. And I'm like there was one time where he was talking about like bringing them on to Rage Select. I'm like, well, do they play video games? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. Are they like super funny? He's like, beats the shit out of me, but I like them. And I'm like, great.
It seems like nice. It seems like nice people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were actually really good. They were the opening act, which was great because they were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The second band was a band called Off.
Okay.
I didn't really like. They had a few songs that were okay, but it was like hardcore, generic, cliched punk rock, like
Okay.
anarchy punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead singer of the band is like actually known for like founding 2 other like really well known punk bands. I can't think of who it is though.
Okay.
But the weirdest thing, but it was just like all of their music was like 30 seconds long, or anywhere between 30 like each song was like 30 seconds to like 2 minutes to a minute and a half long.
You mean the band in Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah, it's like literally I wanted to yell, "It's not a race, guys!" But it was also awesome because at one point he was like, "Yeah, guys, don't worry, we got like 5 songs left, and then Bad Religion's gonna be out here." It's like, "Oh, so you'll be done in about a minute and a half."
Right.
But they're the vocalist,
Keith Morris.
Keith Morris. Yeah, he's done. He's been in a few kind of well known.
Apparently, they're like a super group.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But the thing about it is that the lead singer, not to make fun of him,
Yeah.
dude has a skullet.
Uh huh. Okay.
I'm just saying, he has a skullet.
What is that? Is that what?
A dreadlock skullet, I should say.
Okay.
It's kind of where you
get the
you
receding
don't have
hairline?
the receding hairline, but it's
Okay.
in dreadlocks, but it's also kind of a mullet going on without the hair on top.
Okay.
But it's all in dreadlocks.
So, like, if Captain Picard had dreadlocks,
yes,
that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I really want to see that now. I really want to see Captain
bizarre.
Picard with mullet.
I'm not
dreadlocks.
100% sure that he wasn't tripping on something the entire concert.
Well, sure, man. That's punk rock as hell.
But like I said, so it wasn't like it was. There were some really good songs from Off, but it wasn't really my kind of tea because it was a little bit too generic, cliched, like fuck the power and just the generic whatever. Oh, we're an anti-government punk rock group, so here's our generic music that everyone else that sounds like every other band that's an anti-government punk rock group.
Sure.
So I wasn't really. I was kind of bored through their thing, and I was kind of like, all right, let's get through this. Luckily, it was short because they had 30 songs, and they only played for 30 minutes.
Okay. Oh, wow.
No. It was probably a little bit longer than that. But then Bad Religion came out, and Bad Religion just fucking tore the house down. They were awesome.
Cool. Excellent. I haven't been to see a show in a long time. I need to just go see anybody.
Yeah, Amanda and I have kind of made it our goal to go to more concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Which it was kind of funny because the thing that I think sparked it is as a Christmas gift, she Less Than Jake, which is my favorite band,
Right.
came to town in December, and opening for him was Masked Intruder, which was a band that she really liked, and another, and then also Anti-Flag and another band.
Okay.
So it was like we went to that, and then that kind of reignited the we should go to more concerts.
Sure.
Because apparently when she lived in California, she went to concerts all the time. And I haven't been to a punk show or whatever show in a long time either. So now we've kind of got this thing where anytime a band comes into town that we're interested in, when we find out about it, we'll go. We try to get tickets and go.
Yeah, it kind of sucks the fact that this just I don't know. It sounds like old man bitching, but if you've lived in Austin, it really for a while it really does kind of come true. Where it's kind of a shame that that a lot of the Austin music scene has been taken over by South by Southwest and ACL and things like that. Because I used to go out just to local places and there'd just be bands playing all over the damn place, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because I don't spend as much time downtown anymore, so you don't just wander across stuff. But I mean, like, it seems like whenever bands come in that I want to see, like, I think the last band that I wanted to see was at this place called The Parish, and Parish is all right, but it's kind of expensive and it's upstairs. Or either that, or I just got this mindset where I'm like, I should be able to pay $7 to go to a show, and it's like, it's $25, and I'm like, fuck yourself.
Yeah, it was like $20, $25 to go see Bad Religion.
Yeah,
but and then also, like, there's other establishments other than Evo's, like Red 7 and the Mohawk and a few other places that that we've seen to be able to catch places at. But it was a lot of fun. It was, I like the fact that I almost saw a fight break out, and then every other concert I've been to within the last 2 years, a fight has broken out at each concert, which has always been fun. Don't even know why they get started. I just see, like, the crowd, like, parting and, like, two guys just beating the crap out of each other.
It's you, isn't it? You're the one who's doing it. You just go over to say, hey, that guy over there, he was talking about your mom. He's talking about your mom.
Usually starts in the pit or someone trying to start a pit in an area where there shouldn't be a pit. So,
They're just trailblazers, man. They're just trying to break new ground.
And then get knocked out. And thrown out.
Well, let's see. Oh, you know what? By the time this comes out, I don't... we're recording this ahead of time, so I can't exactly go into the future. But, like, Daredevil will all be out.
Yes,
like, it's kind of a cool time, man.
I am excited because by the time this comes out, I will probably have watched all of it.
You just plan on sitting down, binge watching the whole thing.
Friday night, sit down.
Yep.
I'm gonna start watching as soon as I get off of work. It's like, all right, if it's online, start watching, and I'm not gonna go to bed until it's over.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, I haven't heard anybody so far in any of the advanced preview stuff be like, it was all right. It had some problems here and there. Everybody's been like, man, it was fucking fantastic.
It was good, and everyone's been saying, oh no, it's good, and it's a hard R for those wondering.
Yeah.
So,
but between that, I don't know, you don't care, but Game of Thrones back on.
Game of Thrones.
Avengers is out within
soon,
a couple of weeks or something like that.
I don't know.
I mean, it's
getting soon.
May 1st, right? Something like that.
I don't know. I've got tickets already, so I'm good.
Okay.
At some point.
It's just so weird. I don't know. I've actually heard somebody, I don't know if they were on the website or if it was just somebody that was talking to somebody else over the weekend that was just like, yeah, Avengers 2 is going to be garbage. And I was like,
really?
What? And then they were like, yeah, yep. But I'm pretty sure that the person that said that started by saying, yeah, because Avengers 1 was garbage, and this is just a sequel to that garbage. And it was like,
you're one of those people.
There's people out there that don't like the Avengers.
There's people out there who don't like good stuff.
Right. Well, I don't want to, hey, look, I can never get on that high horse because I haven't.
I will.
I have enough contrarian opinions about things that people totally love, and I love things that people totally hate, that it's like I could never, I'm too old for that shit anymore. Just be like, no, you gotta like what I like. Go fuck yourself.
I don't care if people like what I don't like, but Avengers is a good movie.
It's a pretty damn good movie. Well, I tell you what. Do you have? Is there anything else that we have to talk about before we move into the news?
Can't think of anything.
Have you gotten out of the opening area of Bloodborne yet, John?
No.
Come on, man. Do you need me to come over there and beat the first boss for you?
No, I've already beat the cleric beast.
Yeah,
I've already beaten that.
Not that guy. He's a tool.
Father Gascoigne or Gascion.
I don't know how to say it. It just sounds stupid when I say it.
So whatever his name is, I haven't beaten him yet, but I've fought him a couple times.
Okay. All right. I feel like you and Aaron need to like code for co-op and then just help each other because you're both in that opening area and I'm just like, damn it, man.
I will say this. The last time I played, and we may have talked about this on Friday, the last video that we did, but I've gotten like so good at the opening area, like it's like even when I get overconfident, I'm not fucking up anymore.
Sure.
Like it's at the point where it's like, okay, do this. Okay, there's gonna be a guy around this corner. Okay, there's a guy standing over here. Okay, got it. Okay, done with that. All right, I'm just gonna go sleep. And hey, now I'm at the point where I can fight. Just like I'm just on autopilot until I get to Father Gascion.
No matter how I say that, it just sounds stupid in my brain.
Sounds weird.
It sounds weird in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's the like 4 French listeners that we have who are just like Americans.
Well, someone in what was it said that I remember someone, I don't remember if it was on a post or if it was during the live stream of Streaming Sunday. Someone said that that name, there's like a British football coach that has that name or something.
Okay.
Or that he had a football coach that had that name and it's pronounced Gascoigne.
Gascoigne. Okay.
But I don't know if that's true. He could just be trying to make us sound like idiots.
Yeah, I mean that just sounds like Father Gascoigne. I'm going down. I mean, like I don't know. It's got that many vowels in one word. I assume it's got to have you got to French the shit out of it. You got to French it all up. Well, shit, you haven't beat Bloodborne yet. God damn it.
It's going to be a while.
I need some of you guys to beat Bloodborne. Jason was on Twitter last week like, I don't know, Jeff keeps telling me all this stuff about Bloodborne, but I don't want to play it. And I'm just like, dude, just nut up and play it. It's probably the easiest of the games.
If he plays it, he'll be in the same position that me and Aaron are in.
Sure, then you guys could team up to kill the Father Gascoigne, and you can all do it 3-on-1. Trust me, if you are able to summon other people into your game, it's actually one of the biggest problems that I have with Bloodborne is the fact that it's not obvious to do that.
Yeah.
And that, new players may not do it because, goddamn, you should just be doing it all the time.
I don't want to.
Why not?
I want to do it by myself.
You crazy? You don't have the training to do that by yourself?
I'm learning.
Okay. Damn, man. You picked the real difficult place to start, I guess. Just a real difficult place to start. Well, anyway, we've got we've got some interesting stories here. Our first story, the thing that I think a lot of people have been talking about, of course, is the fact that I guess this was that other thing that Square was talking about like a few weeks back where they were like, we also have a whole other thing that's coming out this year. New Deus Ex game. What's it called? Deus Ex...
Mankind Divided?
Mankind Divided, yeah.
Or Divided Mankind or something.
They call it Deus Ex Mortal Kombat. No, that doesn't work. Sorry. But yeah, there was a trailer. We watched it. I mean,
looks good.
It was all pre-rendered, right?
Yeah,
but it was hot.
Trailer. It looks good.
Yeah, gravelly Adam Jensen talking about in the future.
There was also a Twitch live stream of a guy in a room for like multiple days.
Was there? I mean, I know there was a Twitch live stream, but when I found out it was just this, I was like, well, we're not going to report on that. So
it was literally, there was a Twitch live stream that was supposed to, at the end of it, it was supposed to reveal what the new game was.
Okay.
And literally it started playing, it's literally a guy in a room, with a table in the center of the room. Sometimes he was sleeping, sometimes he was meditating, sometimes he was writing in a notepad.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it would have like little overlays of information, and apparently the chat room could change the camera angles at certain intervals. And it literally was just one of those things where it's just like, this is boring because literally they stuck a guy in a room for like multiple days.
Yeah. Yep. No, I always hate it when companies do that. I always hate it when. I mean, put some kind of goddamn countdown timer on it.
Apparently,
right?
there are some places that have taken like the moment that have captured like the moments that are actually important, like where stuff is actually happening in the video,
right?
And have put them on in like short like intervals, so you can actually view each one to actually, because the rest of the stuff where nothing important is happening, who fucking cares,
right? Yeah.
But apparently, it got leaked that's before like the Twitch stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Before the Twitch stream ended to do the reveal.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, it got leaked.
Well, it was weird because it was like I looked at there was a news story. I mean, I'm using Game Informer right now to look up news stories, and there was totally a news story about like what is this new Square IP, and it was like, but then they've got this whole like hub for coverage all month. We're doing coverage for the new Deus Ex game, and it was like, and so then I went to the Twitch channel, and it was just running like a little. It wasn't the actual trailer, but it was just running like this little screen that had information about it, and it was like the trailer name was the hashtag for the game, and I'm like, why are these two things separate? Just like update them, man. But yeah, the trailer is hot. I mean, it was
good,
totally pre-rendered.
Yeah.
It seems like you got Adam Jensen out there. I mean, it seems. I guess it's more. Like the first Deus Ex Human Revolution was more of like a personal story for Adam Jensen, and I didn't kill my wife, or who are these guys and what is their agenda, and coming to grips with the fact that I got cyborg arms and stuff like that. This one seems more like it's going to focus on more of the meta narrative of, because they had that whole thing in Human Revolution where they're talking about like the way that the transhumanist people are treated by the rest of mankind, and the way that they treat people who don't have augmentation, and there was a whole thing in there too. There was a whole subplot that I felt never really. I can't remember, man. It's been so long.
Yeah.
did it ever come to fruition? Because there was this whole idea that when you implant cybernetics in people, they have to take these drugs to keep the cybernetics from rejecting, right?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Jensen had some kind of weird, shady past where it was like he didn't need to do that, and it was like there was like kind of a whole conspiracy angle of like what happened to his parents and where did he come from, and
yeah, I don't know.
I don't
about
remember.
That.
I really need to go back and play that game, but this seems to be more about. I mean, I didn't think they could make him more of an unshaven, scruffy-looking white guy,
Yeah.
but now he's got a beard.
Yeah.
Now he looks like Wolverine with cyborg
And
arms.
they still do the visual cues in the trailer where he has wings.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that. There's like 3 different like scenes in the trailer where he stops and it looks like he has wings because of a sign that's behind him,
Right.
or because of the way the light is reflecting off of water, or whatever. It's like, okay, guys, you're going a little bit overboard with the wing thing.
Well, I mean, you remember the first trailer?
Well,
where
he
it
was
like, just, like,
Icarus.
full on,
Yeah.
like. But I don't know. I mean, I like some of the stuff that I see there with the like the ability to shoot the blades out of his arms.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a part that had some armor in it. There's a part that had this like kind of stunning a guy with a bunch of little nano zippies. And I mean, there's a guy in the trailer that I can't find information about whether he was in Human Revolution. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a cursory search that figured out that I would be able to find him or not, but it looks like a leader of some kind of like pro-transhumanist terrorist group,
Yeah.
which they kind of had like a plot like that a little bit in the last one with the guy that was...
Yeah, I feel like the trailer kind of set it up to where it's kind of one of those things where it could just be like, we're just showing you this guy's the bad guy, and when you play the game, you'll totally know who he is, and you'll
Right.
understand. But it also feels like it could be one of those things where it's like, hey, we're showing you this guy because you should already know who he is.
Yeah. I couldn't really tell whether I should... I mean, I sat here, and you and I were both just sitting here. I mean, like, I went to the Deus Ex Wiki and put his name in, and I was like, who the
Some
fuck
Russian
is this?
dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I really need to go back and play. Deus Ex. I'll
You
put
should.
that on the. I'll put that on the pile with all.
Put
the
that
rest
on
of
the
them.
pile with
all the
everything
other
else.
40-hour RPGs that I'm
Yes.
playing.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, I mean, this is going to be PC, Xbox One,
PS4.
PS4. Yeah.
Is the Wii U going to get some love again?
No.
No director's cut for
Did
the
you?
Wii U?
I mean, were you on the show when they? I mean, you were the one who told me about that game that Ubisoft made that they said they wouldn't release until the Wii U sold a certain number of copies. And there was one week where we actually saw what that game was, and it was just like complete garbage.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I guess the question is, I mean, like, are people excited? People interested in a new Deus Ex game? Is that? I mean,
Seems like it. I mean, I saw a lot of people talking about it when the news broke.
I mean, did Human Revolution sell really well? It seemed to be very popular and pretty well received.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody. I mean, I've heard people that might have been slightly tepid about it, but I don't know if I've ever heard anybody just be out like, no, fuck that game. It was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people on my Facebook feed were talking about it but then again, I know that a lot of people on my feed, like a lot of friends that I have, are like avid like fans of them. One of which is like he cosplays at conventions as the main character. So,
that came out in 2011.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy, that was 4 years ago.
long time.
Yep. What else was 2011? What year was that? Was that?
It was 2011 is the year.
No, John. Come on, man. What else came out in 2011? That was that the year of Skyrim and Dark Souls? Was that same
Bastion.
year? Bastion? Let's see.
And I only know that because of Friday.
Let's see. Let's see what year that was. I always have a hard time with when you get more than a couple years back. Yep, 2011.
Yeah,
So that was
there
the
you go.
year of Dark Souls, Skyrim, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I remember the only way I could keep years straight is I just have to go back and try to remember my Game of the Year list.
Yeah.
And that was what was on there. That's a pretty rough year for Deus Ex Human
Yeah.
Revolution when Skyrim comes out. But it looks like, I mean, I don't know. As we said before, VG Charts is not super reliable.
No.
But it looks like between the PS3, the 360 version, and the PC version, according to their sales figures, that it was, what is that, 2.68?
Well, I mean, it did well enough that they did do the director's cut version that was
Yeah.
released on the Wii U, and I heard that did within their expectations.
So it looks like, I mean, according to this, and again, like I said, figures, about 3 million total, which is
Okay.
not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
The Wii U, of course, looks like it sold sub.
Yeah, I don't
90,
think
like 90,000.
I don't think
that.
it sold a lot, but from what I remember hearing is that it sold around what they expected.
Yeah,
Which is, considering Ubisoft's feeling towards the Wii U.
I don't know. To be honest, I kind of there's a part of me that kind of wishes. I mean, that they would throw back a little bit harder towards Deus Ex 1.
Yeah.
I mean, Deus Ex
Well,
was.
all this is supposed to be a prequel to that. To those
yeah,
games.
you're right. You're right. I guess that it's been so long since I played Deus Ex. I remember. I mean, everybody. It's a big cult game and everybody loves it. I remember being real blown away when I played it. But the Human Revolution was just so like slick. Of course, it did have one of the greatest moments in all of video game history for me, where you've got this kind of semi-open world, right? You can walk around in the world, and if you don't have any guns up by default, your default action is to punch people in the face. So if you walk up to somebody and you just hit a button, Jess will just punch them right in the face, right, and knock them out. But then he has this animation where if you approach somebody from behind and you hit the punch button, he taps them on the shoulder, and when they turn around, he just punches the shit out of them. And I was trying to turn in the quest for like that homeless lady in the first area where you give her the beer, and I walked up to her, and instead of hitting the activate button, I hit like the mouse button, and so it cuts to this cutscene where Jensen taps her on the shoulder, she turns around, and just BAM! And I was like, damn, dude!
And then you could never turn in that quest.
Oh yeah, no, she got knocked the hell out. It was crazy. I hope they give you. I mean, I hope. So the one thing about Deus Ex that I remember very vividly, and I don't know. They were supposed to fix it in the Wii U version. I never went back and played it, so I don't know. Is being able to beat the bosses either non-lethal or using stealth options is something I really hope they fix, because that was
something they fixed in the Wii U version.
Big fall flat on your face moment for that game where you're playing.
Yeah, because I think there was like one or two bosses where they specifically made in the original version where they specifically made it to where you couldn't do that.
Well, it's because, I mean, if I remember correctly, it's because those fights were created by a different company.
Yeah.
So it's like a different company was in charge of the boss fights as opposed to the entire rest of the game.
Yeah.
And they just weren't given the mandate that it's like you have to have a stealth way, or you have to have a social way, or you have to have, the entire rest of the game can be played in like a multiple of different ways, except for that. I tell you what, though, have you ever talked with Cargill about Deus Ex?
No, but I remember you and him playing it for
the Barmageddon?
Yeah, the Barmageddon back in the day.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, that guy, like, he played through that game. Like, that game was his Dark Souls, right? He played through that game like 16 times using every different version of being able to play through guns blazing, stealth, social, like doing power, stuff like that. And he will just sit there and he will bend your ear about every last little detail of that game.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of games that people will bend your ear about the details of, Five Nights at Freddy's is getting a film adaptation, John.
Woo!
Apparently.
Warner Brothers.
Yep. According to the Hollywood Reporter, let's see. The creator is getting involved with. Is it Warner Brothers?
I thought it was. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Anyway, he's getting involved. It's super, super early. It's like super early of like talking about making it into a film franchise. In all honesty, that sounds great. That's
my response to it is like, if they can make it and it's good, more power to them.
Sure.
I don't care.
Yeah, it actually sounds absolutely perfect, because what it means, I love it, because what it means is that I can watch the plot of Five Nights at Freddy's without having to play Five Nights at Freddy's, which is the part that I don't like. And I think I can already see it in my head. It would be perfect. I mean, I've never seen a horror movie where the, chopping mall, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, no, and I mean, and when I say I don't care, I don't want people to think that means like I'm tired of it. Fuck it, I don't give a shit.
Sure.
It's not a mean thing. It's like I don't care. I don't. You can make anything into a movie.
Sure.
Get the right writers on it. It could be good. It could be bad. I mean, there are movies that I've seen that I liked, and then I went and watched, played, or read the source material, and it's been shit.
Yeah.
But and then also there's the vice versa, where the source material is great and the adaptation is shit. So I mean, I say, hey, more power to you. If you can make a great movie out of it, I'm really happy. If not, you know what? It's another bad video game movie if it comes out and it's terrible. So
I don't even know. It's weird. I wonder if it would even be. I wonder if it would even be thought of as a bad video game movie as opposed to just schlocky horror.
Yeah, and I
'cause
think
there's
that's
plenty
what,
of schlocky horror out
and I
there.
think that's what's going to end up being a schlocky horror.
Yeah. I guess it's interesting. I mean, it just depends on whether or not they put in enough money, because when you think about it, I mean, you could do Five Nights at Freddy's horror movie that all takes place in one place, right?
Yeah.
You need to find one building and dress it up like the first one, like Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, right? You need to have at least a few different people in there so that you can kill some of them off, and then you need to have the animatronics, right? And you
Yeah.
can start with them like they are in the game, where you don't see them move, and then maybe later on it'll be like you start seeing them move and stuff like that, and you can have a couple people die in weird and crazy ways. You can spin out the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's and what happened. You can have a flashback sequence where they show the original Fazbear Diner or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it could totally work. I could see it totally working. I can see it totally working. I'm not a connoisseur of horror movies, right?
Okay.
So I don't watch a lot of them, so I don't get as burned out as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I could totally see Five Nights at Freddy's working as a low-budget found footage movie,
Yeah.
where it's a bunch of kids with cell phones breaking into an abandoned
totally.
Chuck E. Cheese,
Totally.
and then getting killed off one at a time, right?
Yeah, totally.
That would totally work.
And I would actually watch that.
Low
If
budget, it could totally work because they wouldn't have to make the animatronics move as much, right?
Yeah.
You could be like, pan across and see Freddy, and then pan back, and then pan back, and oh fuck, he's gone, and like wait, wasn't and like, yeah, you could totally do all that stuff. It would totally work. In fact, I'm more excited for this than I am for the games. Like,
Yeah.
so,
No, yeah.
more power to you. I think it's fantastic. The only thing is that let's see, Roy Lee of Vertigo Productions, as well as Seth Graham-Smith and David Katzenberg of Cat Smith Productions, will produce the film. Let's see, Lee's producing credits include Poltergeist and Old Boy remakes. They remade Poltergeist?
It hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
It's about to come out. It actually has.
Did you see the Old Boy remake?
No.
Okay. I heard mixed things. That, like, it was one of those things of like, if you're just expecting a straight up remake of the original, then you're going to be disappointed, but that it has merits on its own right, type of thing.
Yeah, the Poltergeist remake. I've seen trailers for it. It's weird.
And then I guess let's see. As well as American Horror remakes, The Grudge, The Ring, and The Grudge, among many others.
Okay.
Graham Smith wrote the script for Tim Burton's Dark Shadows and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh, that guy.
Oh, good luck, Scott. Good luck. I hope that this doesn't end up being a big pile of crap. I mean, I like the Ring. The American Ring was very successful.
Yeah. I like the Ring.
I've been on record before. I think the American version of The Grudge is a weird waste of time because it's most of the original actors, the exact original story, and then they just shoved in a couple of white people. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one.
but yeah. All right, next up, kind of a controversial story.
Controversy.
CD Projekt Red announced that they're putting in 2 paid expansions to Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Get the pitchforks.
That's right. Grab your torches, and I don't know what rhymes with torches. But I mean, I think that some people so CD Projekt Red has a history with The Witcher, especially with Witcher 2, of just giving away all their DLC for free. But they announced this. Basically, there's going to be a season pass. There's going to be a $25 season pass. They announced 2 pieces of content, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. And I think they said that Hearts of Stone said that it's probably that one piece of content is going to be 10 hours all on its own.
Okay.
I don't know if they had any real details about Blood and Wine, but what I love about this story, and what I love about CD Projekt Red, there's not a lot of game companies out there that I can just unabashedly just love. From Software put out Dark Souls, but they just did that whole Scholar of the First Sin bullshit, and that's bullshit, right? The other Kojima Productions, they've done things that I don't really care for before. Anyway, I love CD Projekt Red, and I pretty much love everything. I love all their work with The Witcher 2. But this is a quote from CD Projekt Red co-founder, and I'm sure I'm messing this up, Marcin Iwinski. While we're offering the expansion pass now, we want to make one thing clear. Don't buy it if you have any doubts. Wait for reviews or play The Witcher and see if you like it first. As always, it's your call. I like the fact that they're not just pimping out. It's get 12 more hours of content. Buy it now.
Yeah.
They're just yo, man, we're putting this stuff out, but you totally should wait and see if you like the game before you pay for this, which I think is just refreshing.
Well, I mean, like you said, previously their DLC was free.
Well, and the thing is that they announced 16 pieces of add-on content that were going to be free for The Witcher 3. Those are still free for The Witcher 3. So
I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah.
This is not really controversial. This is not the same thing as Capcom putting DLC on a disc before the game's release.
Come on, man! I had to try to whip up controversy somewhere on the podcast.
I'm just saying.
I know it's not controversial. I feel like I'm defending them against nothing. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No. I'm just saying this is not things that people should be getting upset about.
Oh, I agree. I'm sure somebody is.
Oh no, totally.
But it's also, I mean, also it's what, $60 for the game. What is it? The game expansion pass, which is the game and the season pass. So they're selling the season pass for $25. They're selling the game and the season pass for $85 on the Xbox One and PS4, which is a $60 game plus $25, and then for apparently just straight up $80 on the PC. I don't know if that's because it's going to be $55 on the PC, but
probably.
I don't know, man. I'm to be honest, this may seem kind of weirdly sacrilegious, right? But like, I like Bloodborne. Don't get me wrong, but Witcher 3 could edge that out as my game of the year.
Okay,
because Witcher 3 looks like it's going to be a much bigger game than Bloodborne.
Everything I've seen about it looks good.
Yep. So it's now up at the top of my list of like, gotta get it, and it's only like 2 months away, right?
Yeah, it's close. It's May.
April, May, June.
Oh no, it's June. They moved it back to June. I thought it came out in May.
Maybe it is May. Hold on, let me just look it up here real fast.
I thought it was at end of May, like the last week of May or something.
I get tunnel vision for the next like 2 weeks of video games. Let's see. April, May 19th. Yep.
Yeah.
May 19th.
Yeah.
Boosh. Man, I hope they put out some more games. I've got the list of the games that are coming out, and it's just like woefully empty right now.
E3.
Yep.
They'll announce them.
Yep. But, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, looking good. So, hey, do you want to play the new Star Wars Battlefront game?
Nah, but yeah, sure. Well, for the sake of the argument of the news item.
Come on, man. Work with me here.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you live in California or Canada?
For the sake of the argument of this article, yes.
Okay. No, I know you don't, but yes. But those who do, there's a sign up on EA's website that apparently Friday, April 10th, in, let's see, Redwood Shores. Let's see. Redwood Shores and Burnaby, Canada. I don't know what all that's about. You can sign up to go to EA and play test Battlefront. So it looks like that they're probably, and I guess it's weird because when I first read this, it was like, I can't remember the last time I've heard of like a public call for people to come beta test a game at a location, right? Chained to a location. But then you think about it and you go, in this particular day and age, it's kind of the only way that you can keep anybody from leaking footage, right, is to do it all in your own building and take everybody's cell phones before they get in there.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, Rage Select listeners, if any of you are in California or are in Canada, go to this thing. Apparently, it's also the thing you can just sign up for it, and then they'll tell you whether or not you can go. And apparently, you get some free EA games too. If they pick you to go, sounds cool. I need to move to California real bad, John. Except that
it's overrated. It's also overpriced.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If you think you're living comfortably here, if you move to California, what you live comfortably on here isn't. You wouldn't even be able to get a hovel.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to settle for like a refrigerator box? Or
no,
ditch?
that's too expensive for you.
Okay, like under a bus or something?
No.
Okay, I'm trying to think of what's worse than that.
You won't have a home.
Underwater.
Yes.
You just live underwater with the Aquaman.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's that, and then there's another piece of Star Wars news this week, which I didn't actually realize that this was the case, but apparently the Star Wars movies have been unavailable in any digital format up until now, and this week they're going to be available in a digital format.
They're going to be digital.
Yeah. And apparently if you buy them on Microsoft's on the Xbox 360, they're giving you Star Wars Pinball for Pinball FX2 and an R2-D2 avatar companion for your Xbox.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I was also looking at it. Apparently, it's $99. Well, the looks like the common pricing is $99 for all of them. or like $20 a pop, or $100 for all of them, I guess.
Okay.
I assume these are still though like the wretched editions, right?
Yeah, they're not doing the Disney did state that they are going to do the unaltered special, the original theatrical versions,
right?
But they're not happening yet.
Okay. Well, then I don't know. I said this before. It's a good thing Jason isn't here because he always gets all passionate about Star Wars. But I don't know. I don't know your feelings about Star Wars. I don't know where you fall on it.
I love Star Wars. I
Okay.
love the original trilogy.
Okay.
I'm ambivalent on the prequels.
But back when the Blu-rays came out of all the stuff, it was funny because like half the people that I knew that were just like bitchy, complainy, I don't like all this remaster bullshit, and then they came out and then they went and totally bought those Blu-rays. And
Yeah, I didn't buy them.
Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
I wanted to buy them, I just couldn't afford them.
Ah, man, I don't know. Yeah, it was weird. I mean, it was weird because it's like literally yesterday you were telling me how this is just raping your childhood and George Lucas is the devil, and I'm like, but you went out and bought it anyway. You still spent the money. Like, come on, man.
George Lucas didn't rape my childhood.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up, so I always love it when this happens, John.
Yes.
Apparently, on April 1st, in the midst of the April Fool's jokes, Hyperkin, the folks who made the Retron 5,
Yeah, a bunch of other Retron consoles.
they posted this thing that's like a cradle that you put your cell phone into. It's got it's like the bottom of a Game Boy, right? But then like halfway through, you just hack it off, and then there's a slot where you can put your cell phone in. It's like
For the iPhone, yeah.
yeah, top of your cell phone is the Game Boy screen, and then below that you've got the controller, you've got the button start and select, and a little speaker and stuff. Apparently, they came out the next day and they said that they put it out as a joke, but they actually have been working on this thing, and the amount of like attention that it received, they're totally going to make it.
Yeah, I don't put it past them.
I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like that's a nifty looking thing. I'm a little pissed that it's just going to be for iPhones at first. They said they're going to look at other options, which I guess I can imagine that, due to the way that the phone plugs into it. I mean, I guess my phone's all busted up anyway, so I can't use it with this thing. But that's still pretty cool. And apparently, I can't tell. Let's see. Turning the phone into a handheld gaming device compatible with Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges. So I'm also assuming that you have to have actual Game Boy games to put in here.
Probably.
That it's some interface between your phone and this little cradle for that stuff. But this thing is cool. I think everybody should check it out.
Here's the thing. Their products may sometimes feel cheap, like made out of cheap plastic.
Sure.
But they're usually pretty badass.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you got a Retron 5, right?
Yes.
Did they ever update it? Because I know there were some problems initially with
No,
it.
they've updated the firmware on it. Now, I know that there's, the plastic of the console is very cheap.
Right.
And I know that there's sometimes the pin, the socket where you put the cartridge in.
Yeah.
They're very tight, especially for certain, like the Genesis is very tight. It almost feels like you're going to break it when you're trying to pull the cartridge out.
Okay.
Or damage the cartridge, but you're not actually. But yeah, I mean, it's a good console. I still play mine every now and then, so
Okay. Cool.
it works.
Let's see. I'm going to skip this one. Sling is putting HBO Go on their service.
Sweet.
Sling TV. Do you know what that is? Do you know what Sling TV
if I remember correctly, originally it's the company that makes the Sling Box, right?
I would assume so.
Which was a thing that allowed you connect your TV to it, and it basically creates an IP that you can go, or a web address that you can go to and watch your TV from anywhere.
Okay. Well, I need to check and see because this thing looks like HBO Go access is going to be on there before the end of the week.
Oh, nice.
$15 a month. It says $15 a month over the standard $20 monthly Sling subscription fee. I don't know. I've got so many of these things now between Amazon Prime and Hulu and stuff that I'm not watching half of them. So
yeah. I've only got 2.
I really wish that I could just I don't understand why HBO announced. I mean, I don't know. Do you know about the HBO a la carte service? Like, it was going to be $15 a month, right? But it was going to only be on specific devices, I guess.
From what I originally heard, it was only going to be Apple.
Right. That's what I heard as well. But I thought, that's stupid. Surely that can't be true.
But if I remember correctly, it was like a timed exclusivity where Apple had it for a limited amount of time.
But this says that they're supposed to be doing this before, the end of the week.
Well, I think the Apple thing started a couple months ago.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it available when they announced it?
Yeah, I think
okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, all I know is that come on, man, just let me pay you $15 because I want to watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, the Don Matrick Memorial Podcast must keep up on all Don Matrick news.
What's Matrick doing now?
Don Matrick is leaving Zynga and being replaced as he's stepping down as the CEO of Zynga to be replaced by company founder Mark Pincus.
Okay.
Yep. I don't think there's any real news about where Matrick is going now, but hey, folks, you can trust us to keep our ear to the ground for any Don Matrick news that comes out.
As soon as we find out, we will keep you in the know.
I got a Snapchat with Don later today, and I'll ask him about hey man, what are you doing? Are you you gonna become a boat racer or an astronaut, or you gonna work? I mean, he went from Microsoft to Zynga. What would be the next step from there? King?
Yeah, maybe.
He's going to become CEO of King Software.
Yeah.
Like just working his way down the douche totem pole. Microsoft, fairly respectable. Left, went to Zynga. Does anybody even play Farmville anymore?
He's gonna become the CEO of the Ouya. Like that's his next thing.
Oh, I love the mental image of Don Matrick in a dark room at Ouya just being like, I'll show those motherfuckers, I'll show them all. Ouya will be the #1 console of all time. Take my statements out of context, will you? Ah! Yep. And that's our last story for the moment. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to answer your questions. Mail@rageslate.com is the email address. So if you want to get your questions answered, you send them on in there. So we'll be back in just a moment. And we are back. We're back to answer those questions, John.
Feels like it's been forever, man.
We do a little behind the scenes here. Usually we're recording the podcast, like we record the first part. I don't even stop recording. We just throw the microphones down and go outside, pee and stuff like that. It's been an hour and a half since we went on break.
I had a burrito.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're gonna be
good.
You gonna be real logy? Are you just
no?
satisfied?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm still
burrito power.
Yeah.
I went and got 2 tuna fish sandwiches and then didn't eat any of them. So take that, I guess, or whatever.
I got a burrito and ate the whole thing.
Yep, right in front of me. You didn't even offer me any of it.
No, it was mine.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't try to take food from me. So I sure as hell wouldn't try to take food from anybody else.
You'd probably be disappointed in my burrito, so it's okay.
Okay,
because it's got nothing in it.
It's got meat and cheese, right?
And rice.
Okay, all right. It's funny. Somebody when we put up our MLB on YouTube for the Stuffies thing, and one of the comments was like, "Oh God, cheese inside of a hot dog? That sounds terrible. I hate cheese." And I was like, "Yeah, I hear you, brother, but if you're already eating a hot dog, you're already made the commitment to the lips and the assholes. All right, you might as well just go all the way for the
inject
invitation.
That sucker with some chili cheese and
Yep. Now I'm hungry. All right, well, let's answer these questions. Mail@rageselect.com is the email address, and our first one comes in from Jason. Jason says...
Jason?
Yes. Not that Jason.
Oh, okay.
A different Jason.
Okay.
Says, with so many games having the feature to let players continue to play in an open world after the game finishes, it would be nice to have a reason for that feature to be there. In all the Batman games and Saints Row 4, getting all the collectibles before you finish the game gets you upgrades that will help you in the end. I love roaming around Arkham City or running around in Saints Row 4, but there really is nothing to do. Wouldn't it be better if the post-game finish, if that post-game finish, the world would randomly generate daily missions for you? Missions you've already done, like go do a Predator mission at that place. But at least it would give you something to do with Batman. My phone games can randomly generate missions. Why can't this? I would love to see that in the new Arkham Knight game. However, I'm not expecting much. On that note, in your review of Arkham City, you guys mentioned you would love to see more involvement from the Bat family in later games. It looks as though this latest version will also be Batman only, which is really sad. I agree. That will make this fourth game where the gameplay, that will make this the fourth game where the gameplay is Batman beats up people. I know this is the storyline of most games like Halo or Gears of War, but they introduced Catwoman, Robin, and Nightwing in Arkham City and then did nothing with them. I really hope that it's an option in the next game. May the God Lord Don Cleese shower you in his white sticky goodness and increase the size of your manhood twofold. Jason, I'd have to get all new pants.
Yeah.
Get all new pants. I don't know. I've always felt like rather than I've always felt like rather than when they dump you back into the world, it's because games have like asinine things like shoot 100 pigeons, or collect 100 flags, and that they don't want to make you have to do that chore before you finish the game, or if you want to like mainstream. I mean, I know he says that people. I mean, I don't know. When you play an open world game, what do you tend to just do everything before you hit the end game, or just mainline the story and then just come back to stuff later on?
Depends.
Okay.
It depends on the game. With games like Grand Theft Auto, I tend to try to mainline the story, and then I get distracted, and then I just forget about the story entirely, and then I get bored with the game and I stop playing.
Right.
And then you have games like Saints Row where, like Saints Row 1 and 2, sort of that happened, but I was able to get myself back on track and finish the game. Go back to mainline the story because I really like the story of those games. And then I would say like Saints Row 4, for example, I probably mainlined the story and then just spent the rest of Saints Row 4 running around the world just collecting orbs.
Yeah. I always tend to get
Same with Crackdown.
I think I always get into a mentality when I play an open world game where I always try to sequence break the game.
Yeah.
I always like play the first 3 missions until they start opening shit up, and then just go, all right, like in Saints Row 4, I'll have like 150 orbs before I
Oh, no,
go to
that's
the
happened
third
to me,
mission.
too.
Yeah, just like, I'm going to get more orbs and listen to this 80s soundtrack. I don't know. It kind of depends. Like, if a company made an effort to actually do like, I mean, I think that we've seen a lot more like procedurally generated stuff, but I still think that I feel like that's one of those features that we've seen a lot of, that we're just right on the cusp of getting to the point where we can procedurally generate content that is of a high enough quality to be acceptable. In comparison to the mainline stuff. Because like in Bloodborne, for example, they have those chalice dungeons.
Yeah.
I thought they were really boring. I mean,
I actually haven't played one yet.
4 or 5 rooms you could and I only did the first few, so I don't know if like when you get later on you have to generate your bigger dungeons and stuff. But like, if you got plopped back down into Saints Row 4 and there were a bunch of missions and they were all just like, go to this place, kill these people. It'd be like,
basically, it would be like playing Get Out of Hell.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think I would be interested in doing that. It would be boring, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, like something like Black Flag, for example, like if you don't do, or even like Rogue, right? If you don't do all those, or even Unity is a good example. If you don't do all of the stupid submissions, I think that I like the idea that the creators understand that not everybody is going to go play all of those.
Yeah.
And that before you end or after you've finished the game, they should let you go back in and police up what you're done with. But on the other hand, I mean, you say that they plop you back down into the world, and Jason here, I mean, he kind of seems to take this as like an insult that there's nothing to do, right? But usually by the time I get plopped back down into that main world, I've already played that game for like 12 to 14 to 16 hours. So I don't know that I really expect much more for my buck.
I can see both sides of that coin.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, and he's used it, the Batman games.
Sure.
It's like it's like, okay, it's like Arkham City. Mm-hmm. It ended, the storyline ended, then it's like, okay, but Arkham City's still there, and you can go around as Batman beating up random thugs and
I think the only reason they put you back in Arkham City is for those goddamn Riddler missions. And who the fuck wants to have to go through all 100 or however many they had of those Riddler things?
Oh, to get the Riddler.
Yeah, before you beat the game. Like, that's like Sophie's choice, man. Like, all right, do you want to spend all this time getting all these Riddler trophies, or do you want to beat the game and then have him locked out, or I don't know. I guess it depends on kind of what the angle is that you're looking at. But
yeah, I think he's wanting, like something to prolong his experience. And he's almost, sounds like he's almost asking is something to where it's stuff that's not available to do before you beat the game.
Sure.
But it's like a, kind of like think of like MMOs where it's like, oh, you have a daily, like you have dailies, what you refer to as dailies or weeklies or whatever you want to call it, where it's basically it's something that you're supposed to do, and it's something specific that can only be done at a specific time.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, now you've done this, you've beaten the game. Here's Batman has discovered that this one place is being robbed, so he has to go run over there and do it this one day, and then on a different day, it's now this other thing, and he has to go do a stealth mission somewhere.
I mean, isn't that just DLC though?
Yeah,
Isn't that,
I mean,
isn't that essentially what he's kind of asking
but
for?
he's more asking for it to be a perpetual thing.
Yeah.
That because he the example he brings up is mobile games. There are a lot of mobile games where you have to connect online.
Sure.
And they're open world or they have a story, and then every now and then they'll add like they'll just kind of pipe in like, oh, here's this thing where you're technically replaying this mission, but it's different because we've put in different enemies, or we've made them overpowered, or we've made you overpowered, or
I think the other thing that you probably have to take into consideration for that is the fact that, I mean, we've seen it's tragic and it's shitty, but most development cycles happen with game ships, team works on DLC, everybody's fired. Like in order to keep that constant level of...
Well, they're either fired or they're moved on to the next project.
Yeah, or moved on to the next project or moved to another team or whatever. But that, like, the example for MMOs that you're talking about, like, that was... I mean, the reason I feel like you got so much more content there was because you were paying a subscription fee every month. Like, you got to look at the diminishing returns of if you buy Arkham City for $60 and everybody buys it and you've made your profit, right? Like, how long are you going to keep people sitting there working on new stuff when you're not bringing in any additional money at that point? Like, that's why I think that procedurally generated would probably be the only way to go, because then you don't have to have people making stuff. Or like Skyrim, right? Where you just keep putting out quality DLC time after time.
Or open up the mod community on Steam or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, though. It was an interesting question because I don't think I've ever thought about that before. I think that I'm just trained to the point where when I get to the end of the game, they plot me back down in the open world and go like, I'm going to finish up these 3 things and then I'm done. Actually, I think Grand Theft Auto 5 has probably been one of the best with that because they've had the online.
Yeah.
Which launched, it's like they gave everybody a chance to finish the game and then they launched the online. And I don't know. I played some more of the heist stuff. I didn't play any more heists, but I went on some of the existing heists with some people.
Yeah.
And that's a good addition to the game, but it's a shit ton more content. I feel like that's the reason that it took so long, is because they had to do cutscenes and create these scenarios and like add in new vehicles and stuff. They really went out of their way to, and the fact that all that stuff is a free update is pretty incredible. But yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, our next question comes in from Steven. Steven says, Dear guardians of all that is awesome, beholder of podcast greatness, prophets of the mighty Dong Cleese. Me and my loving wife have been looking for a new co-op game to play together. We played the Gears of War saga a few times and the Halo series. I was curious if you could recommend any games we should play that may improve our bond for bloodlust. Thanks. Thankfully, your fan, Steven.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about. Okay, so when Grant and I were just started up a new sequential, right? We just started playing GTA 5.
Yeah.
But before we did that, we thought about, let's play a game that's co-op, so that we could both play. We got a bunch of suggestions from the community. Given his description of wanting sorts of games,
violence,
I think that at least the first Army of 2 game would probably be a fun time.
Yeah, I actually really like the first Army of 2 game.
The second one's okay.
Yeah,
the
it's all right. The third one is kind of garbage.
But the first one is just goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah, me and my roommate both bought that game the first one when it came out, and like literally just co-opted that whole game like 3 times.
I think it's weird that nobody else has picked up that idea of putting like co-op aggro management into an action game, because it worked really well there, right? Like where you could one person could put on a silencer and have a sniper rifle, the other person could have a gold-plated machine gun where you're just like, and then everybody hates them and they run towards them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the sniper can just be like, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah. Was Dead Space 3 was co-op?
Dead Space 3 is co-op, yeah.
Yeah.
We probably have to go through, I mean, I don't know if they played Dead Space 1 or 2. I'm trying to think of other FPSs that have good co-op.
Wasn't there a Resident Evil game that was co-op as well?
Well, the new one, Revelations 2, is all co-op.
Okay.
You can play that split-screen co-op, and I think that's a really fun game because both of the players have different abilities.
Yeah.
And working together makes the game a lot more, a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you're going to have a whole bunch of stuff like Castle Crashers or Charlie Murder or things like that.
Yeah, those games are great.
Let's see. Actually, there's a whole website devoted to this.
Oh my God. What the heck is it called?
Co-Optimus? Co-Optimus, yeah.
Yeah. Why can't I think of the title of that game?
Tell me anything about it.
It's the newer game from the people who made Castle Crashers.
That Allison loves. Battle Block Theater.
Yes,
Battle Block Theater.
Battle Block Theater.
Yeah.
You will hate each other by the end of it. It'll be amazing.
I would probably. Okay, let's see.
Portal 2 co-op.
Portal 2 co-op's pretty goddamn good. Portal 2 co-op works out really good. I'm trying to think. You can't play it on the same. Man, that sucks that you can't play it on the same. Well, I guess that would be kind of weird. If you have 2 PlayStations, you can always play Dark Souls and co-op your way through that, or Demon Souls, or Dark Souls 2, or Bloodborne. Gotta get shoehorned it in there somewhere.
I
John.
figured. I was waiting for it.
Shoehorn it in there.
I was waiting for
at some point. I'm looking through the Co-Optimus list of stuff. All the Lego games have co-op, which is, I mean, like, you guys sound a little bit more blood guts than that, but
this is true.
If you're interested, those are pretty good. This is a really terrible list. Yeah, the new. In fact, if you've got a, oh no, that's not true. If you've got, even if you have the old consoles, Diablo. I mean, I know that Allison and Jason play the shit out of Diablo 3 co-op. And for that matter, Minecraft from the Murphys. They do that all the goddamn time.
Yeah, Diablo 3 is a good co-op game.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that they went out of their way to make sure that they could do local co-op.
Left 4 Dead 2?
Yeah.
That's pretty decent.
Nuclear Throne?
Broforce. I'm just looking at the Steam co-op
Broforce,
list
yeah.
now.
Broforce and Nuclear Throne.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. We actually we almost played Magicka. Now, Magicka is in a... like, you can play it with a controller on the PC. It's very bizarre, and I don't know if it actually came out on anything outside of the PC.
Yeah, didn't we play for Super Awesome Video Game Show once? We played Magicka Wizard Wars?
Wizard Wars, yeah. But the single player for Magicka, you could totally play, and it's pretty hilarious because friendly fire is totally turned on, and you're going to constantly forget. You're going to hit the wrong button, and you're going to just end up shooting your partner with a laser beam in the face. You're going to be like, I'll give you a healing beam. Oh, shit, that was just a regular beam. Oh, damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that's a pretty decent amount of things.
I can't remember. There's supposed to be a game. I think it's coming out on like early access soon or something like that called Co-op. That I'm assuming is a game featuring co-op.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how that's going to be.
Here's a Tom's Hardware a page with top FPS games with a great story / plot. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that you can play all of the Call of Duty games co-op, right? Can't you?
I don't know.
I think you can play all of them.
Probably.
Anyway, well, that should be enough for you to get started. Let us know when you beat all those games. Also, co-optimus.com is a website that kind of devotes themselves to couch co-op games. But looking at their list of as I just sorted it by what's their top rated stuff.
Yeah,
it wasn't really super great. But I don't know. Maybe take a look over there. All right. This next one comes in. Man, we were zipping through these questions today. Next one comes in from Austin. Austin says, "Hey, Jeff and John. In the N64/PS1 era, we finally saw our favorite 2D characters upgraded and reimagined in a 3D world. But now when Ubisoft was tugging away at the dry and blistered AC udder, they found that they could do the exact opposite, taking existing 3D AC formula and bring it down to a 2D side-scroller. So what 3D games would you like to see go to a 2D plane? My first thought was Batman Arkham games, but then I realized this was recently done for the Vita, and it was absolute garbage. I'd love to hear what you guys come up with. Thank you for answering my question, and to misquote Bruce Campbell, hail to the dog, baby, Austin."
I would like to say Blackgate was not that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't... It's... I find that...
It wasn't great.
Yeah. Well,
but it wasn't that bad.
It's weird when I look at that new AC property, the new 2D AC property.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a difference between, I don't know, how do I put this? It almost feels like the person who designed the game, I almost want the person who's designing that game to be somebody with a lot of experience in 2D platformers, because I look at that AC game and there's a whole bunch of other 3D shit going on in there.
Yeah.
Because you play something like Rayman, right, which is obviously just a goddamn two-dimensional game.
Yeah, the Rayman Legend games are amazing.
Even though it's 3D. And that was, I guess, one of the problems that I had with Batman was that it was kind of set up like it was a 2D game, but it wasn't really a 2D game.
Yeah.
It had all these 3D elements in it. it just didn't feel right. It felt weird. I don't know.
It was also on the 3DS.
I think I played it. I think I played it when they put out like an HD version on the PC.
Yeah,
you played
you
it for
did.
Patreon.
Yeah, you guys played it on Patreon. Yeah.
I was just thinking of another. Strider was a good example.
Strider
worked really well. The Strider reboot worked, but that's not answering this question. It's just good 2D games. 3D games that you'd like to see go 2D. You know, I've always had
Metroid Prime.
You son of a bitch. I was going to say Castlevania. So back in the old days, did you ever play? There's a game that Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation.
Yeah, I know who Yahtzee is.
He made a game called Trilby and the Art of Steel.
Yeah,
That was like a 2D stealth game, and I love the way that Shadow the Ninja played.
Okay.
As a stealth 2D kind of Vania-ish game, and stuff like Gunpoint that kind of plays the same way, or that one from Devolver that we saw. I think I would really like to see like a Metal Gear, like a 2D, side-scrolling Metal Gear that added in like clever stuff.
Yeah.
Or Splinter Cell, like one of those classic franchises.
There's a game I'm gonna say, and you're gonna look at me puzzled, and then when I tell you why, you're gonna be like, okay, I guess I can see it.
Okay.
Devil May Cry.
I'm looking at you with a puzzled look.
Okay, the reason I actually would like to see this is because go play the Dishwasher.
Dishwasher Smile?
Yeah.
Or is that what it's
Vampire
called?
Smile. The original version
okay.
was, the sequel was called Vampire Smile.
Oh,
or something
okay,
like that.
okay.
But the Dishwasher,
Yeah.
by Ska Studios, it's Devil May Cry in 2D.
Yeah.
If you actually pay attention to what's going on, it's Devil May Cry in 2D, and it's amazing.
I feel like there have been a couple games that kind of did that.
Yeah.
They took the real hacky slashy combo styles and then threw them into a 2D frame. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned Ska Studios. It's funny. This is the last question. We're talking about co-op. We talked about Charlie Murder. You talked about Dishwasher Smile. But when we were at the South by Southwest, they're making that Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah, Salt and Sanctuary,
which is 2D Dark Souls.
Yes,
which is pretty crazy. I'm trying to think of other games that I really like that I would like to see. Do you think you can make like an open world game in 2D? You can make like a 2D Grand Theft Auto side scrolling. No, that wouldn't really work, would it?
I mean, it would if it's side scrolling. If you're saying side scrolling only, because I mean, there is a 2D Grand Theft Auto. It's called Grand Theft Auto. But
yeah, I guess I that's why I said side scrolling.
Yeah,
that's why I added side scrolling.
As far as side scrolling, I mean that's technically what Metroid is, isn't it? Because you can go anywhere.
Yeah,
it's open world sandbox. I mean,
if that's I guess if that's the
I mean that's I mean literally we were talking about hating the fact that they're called Metroidvanias. It's like they're actually side scrolling sandbox games.
Yeah, I guess because you can explore the whole world and go back and forth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So there you go, people. You want a new name for those side-scrolling sandbox games?
That's too long.
I don't care. They wanted a
side boxes. Ew, that sounds gross.
Sand scrollers.
Sand scrollers. There you go. You got it now, John. Let's see. I'm just looking at my game shelf right now, trying to think of games. There was actually one that was in my head and then just like fell out. I don't know. It's funny because it's just a straight up 2D side scroller. I don't necessarily like just straight up move left to right and shoot stuff. Like my jam is the Metroidvania style, and for that, I'm kind of like pick any of them, right?
Yeah,
pick any game and make it a Metroidvania, make it a good one, and that's like crack to me, right? Put Mario, make a Mario Metroidvania. That'd be interesting, right? They take Mario, but put him in a world where you can walk back and forth and you have to get new powers. Where you could finally open up Mario's power set and give him, more stuff and use those things instead of like a one-time power-up as a way to get to new places in a world. You totally do that. Wasn't there a Metroidvania game that what did we just get done playing that was Metroidvania? Is it for Indie Friday?
Yeah, it was Axiom Verge.
Axiom Verge. Right. There was a Halo side-scrolling thing that was like a fan-made project that I think
was it?
Make.
Yeah, I never saw that.
That was pretty good. I don't know. Anything else that you can think of?
No, I mean, I can't really think of anything.
I mean, again, I think that it's interesting. I can rattle off some of my favorite games.
I'm going to be honest. When he's talking about the Assassin's Creed, I'm actually kind of looking forward to the side-scrolling Assassin's Creed games.
J'accuse!
Just because
I don't know if that makes sense.
the 3 characters, I think, are interesting because they're not new characters.
Right.
They're characters from other things that were not games.
Like comics and...
Yeah,
extended
comics
universe.
and the Embers movie or whatever. Assassin's Creed Embers.
Asian woman, wasn't she supposed to be like... If you bought the season pass, you got a whole sub-campaign with her?
Well, that's what that is.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a real sub-campaign.
No. It's like it's a game. It's its own game.
Oh.
That you get that you can download, and then they announced that there's 2 other games that are going to be following it. So it's going to be a total of 3 games. And 2 of the characters are characters from the comics, and then her, which she's from the Assassin's Creed Embers movie. She's Ezio's student. Like she goes to learn from Ezio. In his dying days.
What's the last good thing that Ubisoft put out, John?
Why would you ask
Far
me
Cry
that?
4?
Yeah, I guess.
And is The Division still coming out this year?
I think it is.
It says 2015.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to. I mean, I haven't heard anything saying it's delayed.
Is anybody still excited for The Division? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I know they're still doing the Raving Rabbids TV show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ubisoft kind of, it was weird. Like 2013 Ubisoft was like on point and I loved them. And 2014 Ubisoft was like,
it's like, what are you doing?
yeah, just kind of screwed the pooch. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, this next one is going to come in from Dylan. Dylan says, "Greetings, heralds of Dongacles. In a moment of drunken realization, I came to a conclusion. There aren't many game sequels for E3 2015 I can see being revealed for my personal preference. I mean, Arkham Knight is to end the Arkham series, Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain being the end to Kojima's saga, and Konami just now putting up applications for a new Metal Gear. The Witcher 3 completing the Geralt story, Fatal Frame 5 has already been revealed also. I don't know if that's the end of the Fatal Frame series, but, you know.
Yeah.
We have Mortal Kombat X coming out this year as well. Silent Hills, who knows where that is at the moment. And also had Resident Evil Revelations 2. And, of course, the almost yearly Call of Duty and Battlefield games. Maybe trailers for The Last Guardian. And maybe Red Dead 2. Yeah, he's got a bunch of wishful thinking things in there. Perhaps new Assassin's Creed. So my question, I'm sorry, this is a little rambly, Dylan. My question, a prediction from you guys for a few months ahead and some input. Do you guys see any game sequels or remakes coming this E3 that have not already been revealed that you guys are interested in? Or are there any you wish would be revealed? Thanks for answering my question. As always, keep it fucking classy, Dylan.
Well, up until today, I would have said Deus Ex, but
yeah, there was always that.
Yeah, but not anymore.
It's funny. It's funny that he asked that because it's like, it's like I spent a fair amount of time bitching about how everything's a sequel or a remake.
Yeah.
He's like, what sequels or remake do you want? I'm like, none of them. It's going to be a whole E3 full of brand new IP. It's just going to be new IP from top to bottom. I think I could probably make some fairly reasonably well-informed.
I think we're going to get a new Fallout.
We better. There better goddamn be a new Fallout there.
They're doing their own press conference. They're doing their own press conference.
Those motherfuckers. Oh, well, you know, I hope that they're not just... No, never mind. I already know. They're going to start the press conference. It's going to be like the first 20 minutes is going to be talking about Elder Scrolls Online. And
it is.
And then what? They'll probably show some Doom because that new Doom...
Correct.
They showed that at QuakeCon, I guess, right? But nobody... I mean, like nobody took any pictures. Like
some people did, and it all looked like crap. And they even said that the footage that people were seeing would probably would not be the end product.
Right. I'm interested to see if a new Doom. I mean, you know.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they'll show Doom. I'm pretty sure they'll announce a new Fallout.
God, they better.
I'm almost willing to bet we might get a Dishonored 2.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I've been wondering for a while where the fuck Gears is. I mean, you know, like Gears has been such a staple of Microsoft in the last generation of like every couple of years having something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that, you know, Judgment did okay, but it didn't do as well as I think they were hoping.
Sure.
So I think they don't know what to do because, you know, dude McLargehuge himself, Cliffy B, can't.
I was kind of having a hard time finding that name as well.
Cliffy B, you know, he only did 1, 2, and 3, and then he left.
Right.
And he's like, I'm not on that team anymore. I've told the story I wanted to tell.
Right.
And so you got to wonder if they went, well,
but they leave. There was a giant plot hole at the end of Gears 3 about who the fuck is making these crazy the hybrid like Locust Queen. Where the fuck did she come from? And why does Dom's or not Dom, but the main protagonist of why does his dad know who she is? And like what the fuck is going on with that?
Yeah,
and they were just like, oh, never mind. We're gonna do a prequel. Like, I don't want a prequel. I want to know what the fuck was going on. You got me interested in Gears of War.
I mean,
like,
we could actually see a new Gears. Like, I wouldn't be surprised by it. I'm not expecting it, but I wouldn't be surprised by a new Gears.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. What else? I mean, I don't think, Elder Scrolls is going to be Elder Scrolls Online for at least a year. Fallout, they better goddamn do new Fallout. Mass Effect's already been announced. I don't think there'll be any Dragon Age. I'm trying to think of other BioWare stuff. I wonder if CNC will make a comeback. I wonder if there'll be a new Command & Conquer out there. Because they had that one that they were making that was going to be like free-to-play browser-based that I actually played at E3 and seemed pretty cool. It was like Generals 2, kind of.
Yeah.
And then they canned that BioWare Victory or whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised if we heard something new Unreal tournament-wise. Because weren't they working on a crowdsourced or crowd-developed
well, they already
Unreal?
have. I mean, you can download the Unreal Tournament Alpha and play it right now.
Yeah.
Because when they made the Unreal Engine free, they put that out there, and then they. It's weird. I'm trying to think of stuff that Okay. Here's one. Here's a weird one. Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
I mean, Revelations 2 came out, and I think that some of the fervor from 6 has probably died down at this point. They put out the HD version this year, which was okay, and then the Resident Evil 2, Revelations 2. It might be time for Capcom to come out and throw a new Resident Evil into the mix.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck Konami's going to end up doing. I'm trying to think of what other franchises Konami has outside of FIFA and it's not. Is it FIFA?
Yeah, there's a FIFA.
Just some soccer game. We did talk about on Indie Friday about how we haven't heard from Supergiant in a while. So
yeah, this is true.
Maybe Bastion 2. I mean, that'd be
Bastion
cool.
2 or some new product.
I guess what the big question mark at this point, another big question mark would be Rockstar, right?
Yeah.
Because GTA 5
Well,
seems like it's pretty sewn
everyone's
up.
thinking everyone's assuming they're gonna talk about
Red
like
Dead 2.
a new Red Dead because of the fact that they made that comment. I was like, well, we're thinking that's one of the properties we want to make a franchise. We want to keep as a franchise, so we're definitely thinking about doing more of those.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything right now, so I can't talk about it at the moment.
What do you think the chances are that it's Bully 2?
I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah.
Because he included Bully in that conversation as well. He's like, he goes, he was, so I don't know, like maybe Max Payne 4. I don't fucking know.
Ooh, yeah, new Max Payne. Actually, yeah, I don't know if I've calmed down enough about Max Payne 3.
Yeah.
I think I've calmed down a fair amount. Let's see. Let's think of stuff from Sony. There hasn't been a Jak and Daxter game on the PS4. There's probably one of those in development.
Maybe.
I don't think that... Do you think Sony will keep pushing the Resistance franchise?
I don't know.
I feel like that kind of petered off, like they kept trying... Or Killzone, for that
Yeah.
matter. One of those, like, quit trying to make it a thing, Sony. Like, they're okay, but, you're acting like they're like Halo or Call of Duty, and they're not.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean...
Microsoft Jet Grind Radio, new Jet Grind Radio. Nintendo. Nintendo's been pretty forthright.
Yeah, they've been pretty open about what they'll. I mean, we'll probably get the name of whatever the new Star Fox game is, and we'll probably get a more realized release date. And then the new Zelda's been pushed back till next year.
Right.
So,
what do you think about new Castlevania? So Lords of Shadow 2 was last year.
yeah, that
Haven't
tanked.
heard.
That game tanked hard.
Did it? I didn't ever see the sales figures on it.
Fucking terrible.
I played it. We played it for the dojo, and then I went back to play it and was like,
Yeah, no, it got like critically panned on every level. Like,
Okay.
nobody loved that game. It was just garbage.
maybe that means it's time for them to come back and start making like side scrollers again. Woo!
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Destiny 2? Probably see a Destiny 2.
We'll probably
pretty
see
soon.
something Destiny
And I know
related.
that we already know there's going to be a Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
They're already working on that. Diablo Blizzard.
We'll probably hear more about. I see, Blizzard, I think, has been pretty public about what.
Oh yeah, Overwatch.
Overwatch,
right.
yeah. I mean, they're. We'll probably hear something more for Overwatch. We'll probably hear some more about Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. Shadow of Mordor 2. What do you think? I mean, that was well received.
Yeah, it was well received. I don't.
Or I mean, like Wolfenstein, they got enough. They got that
DLC
for the DLC coming out next month.
Thing.
Yeah. I could see both of those teams putting out another of their things. I don't know. That's a fair amount of things. I'm just trying to think of other franchises that we haven't heard from in a while that have been off the radar. I wonder. God, there's no way in hell that they would announce like a BioShock 3 because Levine wouldn't be working on it. I don't think that.
You know what?
What's that?
I'm gonna throw something out there.
Okay.
And it's probably not gonna happen.
Inversion 2.
Heavenly Sword 2.
Heavenly Sword 2?
Because what's Ninja Theory doing?
Devil May Cry Special Edition?
They did it already.
That out,
Definitive Edition. They already did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either going to be that or it's some new IP, that or...
they announced it last year.
Oh, did they?
Remember the trailer with the woman and she has like a mask and there's like all this fire and kind of like horror, like
but
scarecrow.
They never
stuff?
said what it was, though.
I think here, let me look them up. But I'm pretty sure that they announced that and it's just gone kind of dark since then. Let's see. There was totally Hellblade.
Oh.
And that's listed for 2015?
Well, there you go. Hellblade, whatever that is.
Yeah.
We'll find out more information.
Story is based on Celtic myth. The trailer is focused on, this is the Wikipedia page, Senua, Hellblade's protagonist, as she embarks on a very personal journey through a hellish underworld. Bah.
Okay, so then never mind. That's not new. It's already been announced.
It just reminded me of something, but then it shot right out of my brain hole. Yeah.
All right.
Well, cool.
It's a lot of good speculation on our part, I think.
I think other RPGs that haven't seen anything. Final Fantasy can announce that. Well, Kingdom Hearts 3 has already been announced. Final Fantasy 15, Square. Nope. Yep. I'm done. All right. Next question. There you go, Dylan. That's John and I spitballing about E3. I'm going to go ahead and move this one to the end.
All right.
And the next one's coming in from boop boop ba-doop doop. I can't tell.
Sent from an iPhone.
Yep, sent from my iPhone. I don't even know if I can even use a first name here. Hey, Jeff and John. Now that the Vita is 3 or 4 years old, do you still use it? And I've recently bought Persona 4. Should I use a strategy guide to unlock the Persona Golden, the best Persona Golden ending, or should I play it normally? Thanks again, your loyal listener, Allie. Okay, Allie. There we go. P.S. If you and Grant do a full Let's Play on Patreon of that game where you two were pretty catty about the hipster girl with time travel powers announced on the podcast, because I would definitely pay money to see that. Sent from my iPhone. Allie. So, all right. I think I know why I picked this question. It's because the second part of that question, I would like to take a moment to address the audience of Rage Select. Okay. What was the name of that? Do you remember the name of that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, is that...
I'm not Grant.
No, I know you're not Grant. Life is Strange.
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like everybody to move the speaker of their podcasting device very close to their face. Clear your mind. Stop eating your sandwich. Don't pause Game of Thrones for just a second. Life is Strange is a sequential game. It's going to be like 5 episodes long, and there's 2 episodes of it out. Each episode's about an hour and a half. If we were to do a full Patreon playthrough, we have to wait until it's all the way out, or else we're going to have 3 episodes and then have to stop, and then stop whatever else we're playing it is, and blah, 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 blah. I understand, guys. I understand. I like that episode a lot, too. It's totally on the list. Let's get back to it when the game is fully out, because there's only 2 episodes of it out right now. Sorry, John. Sometimes people, they ask for this, and I'm just like, it's like when people are like, why haven't you played this game for the dojo yet? It's like, because it doesn't come out for 3 months, man. Like, come on. Okay. With that small aside of
as far as the first question goes,
yes.
I've never owned a Vita, so I've never played one.
Okay, well, let me answer the question about Persona, and then I can answer the question about the Vita. As far as Persona 4 Golden goes, you don't actually have to, if I remember correctly, and people in the comments can totally correct me if I'm wrong, but
and they will.
Then they will. But the place where you get the best ending for Persona 4 comes way into the game. Like, you're going to kind of know that shit's starting to come to a head. Like, there's a lot of, it's not going to be when the class goes on their field trip, right? It's not going to be when they have the seasonal celebration or whatever, right? It's not going to be like those little, because there's all these little things where you have to make choices, and those choices are different, and they change the game a little bit. But there's going to be a real big spot where you have to make like 2 decisions in a dialogue tree in order to get towards where the best ending is. As long as you save frequently in the game and you're kind of cognizant of that, what I would say is play the game normally the way that you normally would, and then when you start getting, like, when the plot starts getting real serious, then go maybe look up just that one thing. Like, don't look up anything else, just look up, like, what do I need to get the best ending? And there'll be like 4 steps of things you have to do, and they're very light. So don't worry too much about it. But you should totally do, especially for Persona 4 Golden, you should do the best ending because it's great. As far as the Vita goes, no. The Vita's okay. The Vita, Aaron uses Vita all the time, so I understand the Vita's a quality piece of machinery. I don't ever use it. I've even got a Vita TV that I've plugged in once, and I've never actually used. Mostly because if I want gaming on the go at this point, I tend to go with the 3DS. There's just better games. And like the remote play on the Vita, like that could be such an interesting thing, except for the fact that like I loaded up my Vita, I got it all configured to play Dragon Age Inquisition, right? And then realized that the primary attack button in Dragon Age Inquisition is R2, and there are no R2 buttons on the PlayStation Vita. So you can stream stuff from your PS4 to your Vita and totally play it there. And I thought this would be great. I'll just take it outside with me when I'm smoking, and I can keep playing my game. And then I'll transfer it back to my thing. Except for the fact that, like, let's say you're playing Dark Souls, right? R1 is heavy as regular attack. R2 is heavy attack, and there's only one shoulder button, and they map the other 2 shoulder buttons to the touchpad on the back, which is just... And then as far as Vita games go, I don't know. I mean, outside of Persona Golden, Nintendo's been kind of whooping their ass as far as, like, exclusive stuff to the platform. I mean, I played a few things, and there's some stuff that's been ported over there, like they put Spelunky on it, but I don't know. The 3DS, the 3D on the new 3DS is really impressive, and it's a real compact and nice little package, and I hate to say it because I love Sony and shit, but like I just like it more than I like the Vita.
Yeah.
I hope that if Sony makes a Vita 2 that they do the right thing and give it 2 sets of shoulder buttons so that it can have control parity with the console. I mean, like I've always said, if you could put fucking, like, that's one of the things about the Vita that really confused me. I have said from day one, like, do you want to sell Vitas, John? Put Skyrim on the Vita. Put Skyrim on my Vita. If I had the ability to just whip Skyrim out of my pocket, play it wherever the hell I am, which sounded a little weird and sexual, I would totally get that. Like, the ability, I mean, I'm not even saying, like, Dark Souls, right? Because Dark Souls is Dark Souls, but put something like that on there. Put something like Skyrim, or I don't know. I don't know. It's not been appealing to me as a device to play stuff.
Yeah.
The touchpad and the backwards touchpad aren't very comfortable. They kind of want you to keep your fingers off of the back touchpad, which means that you kind of got to hold the whole thing by gripping the sides of it in this really tenuous manner. I don't know. And that whole thing when they were developing the Vita where they were showing how easy it was to port like PS3 games directly to the Vita.
Yeah.
I would think that at this point then you just go run back down the list of PS3 games and put everything on the Vita. Do a little control switching for it, Yeah. They made an Uncharted for the Vita, right?
Yeah, there was a launch title for the Vita. I know they ported Borderlands too.
But see, that was another one where it was like Borderlands is a first-person shooter, and so you've got this aim and fire, and it was a little weird and difficult because it didn't have the shoulder button.
Yeah.
So it's like you're mapping stuff to the touchpad that you have like an icon on there that's obscuring your vision. I don't know. If I were them, I'd just go back and start putting PlayStation 3 games. Like, why not put original Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 out on the Vita, right? Why not?
Why not?
Why not? All right, next one comes in from Metal Gear Ray, who says, "Hey, Jeff and John. I am skipping the praises of our Dong Lord to ask you an important question. What's the deal with your Twitch channel not having previous broadcasts up anymore? I have to work on Sundays and would always catch up when I get off at 11 or 12 at night, but the last 2 weeks have left me a sad panda. What gives? Still love you guys, and we'll keep watching and support you. No worries there. Metal Gear Ray. Sorry, this is another administrative question. John, yes. I put that stuff on our YouTube channel. I don't like to use the Twitch archives
because they delete it after a while.
Well, one, they delete it. Two, it's raw. It's like whatever streams to them from your computer. So if there's like network interference or stuff like that, is a problem. So the way that it works is that we stream 1 week, and then a week from the day that we stream those things, I'll usually edit the post on the website, and then I'll put them up on the YouTube channel. You go down the YouTube channel, do a search for Sunday Streaming. You're going to find all of the old episodes that we've ever done. I don't like how I do some work on those videos to make them look better before I put them up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I don't like the raw Twitch feed because I think it's kind of garbage quality. So that's what it is.
And then also Twitch changed some of their storage things and went, you people can't store all that anymore.
I'm amazed because I didn't even know that the videos were being archived. And then I turned that off manually because the thing is that I don't like the presentation on the channel of just like this nasty raw stream. It doesn't take a hell of a lot of work on my part to give you guys a much more nice stream. So, and I do put all of them up the week after. Sometimes it's on Sunday, sometimes it's on Monday, but I do put them up back on that same page the week after they're up. So, go check them out. Look for them on the channel.
If you ever missed any,
that's
how you can rewatch them.
Yep. The next one comes in from Full Metal Toaster, who says,
a lot of Full Metal.
Yeah. A lot of
metal.
Hello, Jeff and John. I was wondering if you guys had seen the newest adaptation of everybody's favorite Sting lookalike, John Constantine. Thought the show was a lesser version of Supernatural without the chemistry of the two leads to drive it. What was your opinion of it? I don't know if you're fans of the comic, though you've mentioned a love of Alan Moore and Swamp Thing, so I thought it was okay to assume. Best Full Metal Toaster. P.S. What did you think of the Keanu movie?
I'm going to actually start with the P.S. first.
Okay.
I don't hate the Keanu movie.
I really like the Keanu movie.
I really like it.
I understand.
It's not Constantine.
It is not Constantine. Nope.
But for what it is, it's actually a really enjoyable movie.
Shia LaBeouf gets fucked up. I like it.
And the guy who I always forget the actor's name, the guy who plays the devil, Lucifer.
Peter Stormare.
It's fucking. He is so awesome in that in that one scene.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton's great. Everybody's great. Rachel Weisz, she's hot as fuck and great.
Yeah, everybody's great in that movie. I love that movie. I love the TV series though.
Okay,
I think it's actually much closer to Constantine as far as because I've watched the whole 13 episode season.
I'm so glad because I stopped watching after 3 episodes.
I think that after a few episodes, it got better. Once they actually started like doing some things to they did obviously they're going to change some things to make it more okay for TV, and they can't make him completely unredeemable.
Right.
They have to make him they can't make him the son of a bitch bastard, whatever you want to call him, that he is in the comics.
It's funny because I feel like they could with stuff like The Shield and like Breaking Bad. Like you've shown that people,
but those are on cable TV networks. This is on regular TV.
Okay.
Now there is the rumor. That because last I checked, the show is not canceled.
Right.
But it's not renewed either.
Okay.
There is the rumor that they're thinking about moving the show to Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay.
Keeping the same actors, same writers, everything's the same.
And just dirty it up.
And rebrand the show Hellblazer.
Okay.
And start off like season 2.
Okay.
But it's going to be called Hellblazer season 1.
Yeah.
And they're just going to pick up where season 1 left off. That is a rumor I have heard that's thrown out there. And everyone who's talked about it has said this would be a great move because it would allow them to make the show more like it needs to be, because they would have a little bit more freedom, and it would probably get the ratings that they would expect for that, which Sci-Fi Channel is going to need some programming, because I hear that wrestling is going to be leaving the Sci-Fi Network.
Wrestling was on the Sci-Fi Network?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I didn't even know that. Wow, it was
SmackDown. WWE SmackDown was on Sci-Fi Channel, and they're actually starting in June. It's leaving SmackDown and moving to USA Network.
Okay.
So
I watched Constantine a little bit. I watched 3-4 episodes of it.
Yeah,
and
I really like the actor that plays Constantine.
I have this. I can't. It's hard for me to describe what this is, but between Constantine, I watched a few episodes of iZombie, and
I haven't watched any of iZombie yet.
Being Human also falls in this category. They seem like perfectly serviceable shows, but there's just a little something missing from them. It's like they need a little spice. Like
Yeah.
they need more meta narrative in their thing instead of just doing a problem of the week type of thing.
Yeah, well, I feel like Constantine, right towards the last episode, the 13th episode,
Yeah.
which was supposed to be a mid-season break because it was originally supposed to be a 22 episode season.
Okay.
But then they got cut short. When they got to that, like, that's when the show kind of hit the meta narrative, and it kind of was ground running.
Cool.
They had new characters like Detective Corrigan, aka the Spectre.
Yeah.
It becomes a more reoccurring character.
Okay.
You start actually getting more people who are popping back in. You find out more information about the big bad guy, who the big bad guy is that's behind everything.
Okay.
And I felt like the show was really hitting its stride in going, okay, this is the show it needs to be, and this is the show we want it to be.
Yeah.
Right when it got its legs cut out from under it.
Okay. That's it. But that's another one of those things too. Is like I stopped watching Flash, and I think that I did the exact same thing with Agents of Shield.
Okay. I'm still watching both Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., though.
I think that I need to wait.
Yeah.
If it's not something like Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad or stuff that just has me like from square one, I need to wait for the whole first season to happen so that I can binge watch over the hump. Because if I'm waiting every week for it to come out, I'm much more likely to give a show some leeway if I can kind of put it on while I'm playing, Dark Souls and half pay attention to it, and then go back when it's starting to get more interesting. Okay, you know what? You got me. All right,
I got to watch Flash every week. I love the Flash. It's really one of my favorite TV shows on TV.
Or maybe it's more than that, John. Maybe it's just the fact that I don't, unless it's the top 1% of shows on TV. I don't want to. I just don't want to watch a thing every week anymore. I want to binge watch. I want to binge watch.
You know what? And that's kind of how I watched Constantine. Like, I'd wait till about 4 episodes came out, and then I'd watch 4 episodes, and then I'd wait until 4 more episodes came out, and then I'd watch those.
Right.
And so that's kind of how I watch that show. So I mean, and that's actually how I watch a lot of TV. Is I wait till about 3-4 episodes, and then I kind of marathon through those, and then wait for more.
I mean, just last week, I guess. Last Saturday, I guess I was real hungover and wasn't feeling super great, and they put up the latest season of Bob's Burgers on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I would never sit down and be like, oh my god, it's 8:30, I got to go watch Bob's Burgers, right? Or even DVR it. I don't even have cable or DVR, so I don't know why I say that, but
I use Hulu to watch all my shows. So.
Right. But I will sit down on Netflix. I will wait for a year and then sit down on Netflix and then I watched all of season 4 of Bob's Burgers in however long it was, 12 hours or whatever. Get through all of them, and that was perfectly fine. I'm more than willing to wait. So I may give I keep waiting to hear about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Some people have said that it gets better, but I haven't heard people saying it gets better enough for me to go back and go through. I also have the problem with Arrow. Everybody's like, Arrow gets really good, but the first season kind of sucks. And then I ask people well, can I just skip the first season? They're like, no. I don't want to watch the sucky first season of Arrow.
Well, here's the thing. I actually like Arrow's first season. I actually think it's a good first season. Now, compared to the second season, it's not as good.
Okay.
But I actually really like the first season of Arrow.
Okay. And I just heard it was very CW, high school kind of relationship stuff.
There's a lot of that in the first season, but and there's even that in the second and I think even the third season as well. But I mean, because it is on the CW, you can't not have that on the CW. Apparently, every show is guilty of it.
Okay,
but I'm actually Netflixing Arrow because I just actually finished season 2 yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So
I just ran out of stuff to watch, so I've been considering what the next thing I should run through is, and that's kind of high on the list. I don't know. Jason Allison won't shut up about Supernatural. Neither will this guy. So
Supernatural's good.
I've never seen it.
I've watched up to season 5, and I've never looked back after that.
Everybody says, it's one of those ones.
Everyone says to stop at season 5, and then
I can already tell you that if I decide to watch Supernatural, I can't do that. You can't be like, "There's 3 more seasons, but they suck," and be like, "Well, gonna ruin this for myself."
I am lucky in that we were going to do that, and then just something else distracted us.
Yeah,
and we just haven't gone back. But we've always been like, we'll go back eventually, but we haven't yet.
Yeah, I talked to Grant a little bit about iZombie. I'm having a hard time with that one. it's so there's just these giant gaping plot holes of like, I have psychic zombie powers, and so I'm going to tell the police what to do. And it's one of those shows, I don't know, maybe you could like classify it as like a Scooby-Doo show, right? Where it seems like more than half the time, if like, the time where the cop is going to arrest somebody, if they took them to court, there's no way you could convict them because half of their evidence is psychic zombie stuff, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen the show. So.
Whereas, but then they back the person up and they say something to them and they're like, you're right, I did kill him and I kill him again and I'll kill him 600 times. And I keep going like, is that even admissible if somebody while you're arresting them is like, yeah, I totally killed him? I mean, can't they just get a lawyer to go, they were drunk?
They were crazy.
Or they were crazy or whatever. All right. Anyway, we got a couple more questions.
They said it in duress.
This next one comes in from Ruskles, who says, "Hey, Jeff and John, recently I received an email from the guys who made War Z/Infestation Survivor Stories, those terrible MMO first-person shooters that were never finished, about their upcoming game. Now they're going through the Steam Early Access route with it and are currently in alpha, but it looks identical to their previous game. My question is, should a company/game developer be allowed to release a game on Steam if they failed to meet the goals of their previous game? Does this set a bad precedent for devs when they can leave a game to rot with barely any support so they can make a quick buck off the sequel? Love new Patreon content. Keep it up. Where are my manners? How are you? I hope you're all doing well. Powerbeard/Ruskles." Yeah, I forgot about that whole debacle last year, about that whole they stole those assets and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know that I want to institutionalize like like I don't know. You get into some weird areas where you talk about like what exactly does bad developer. What does that mean? Like, what are the actual ground rules of that, right?
Yeah, and who's going to set those ground rules? And then you have to set someone to police those ground rules,
right?
And there's a whole. It's
like
the whole thing.
I mean, again, we can go back to you and I were talking today. It's funny how very little of it has actually leached into this podcast about Scholar of the First Sin.
Yeah,
and you say this is very much from kind of double dipping in a weird way that I don't know that I've ever seen before.
Yeah,
of kind of re-releasing a game with not exactly new content, some new content, but then a lot of just remixing and then charging people. And I know that a lot of people, the fact
actually, I like that. We should be calling this Dark Souls 2 the remix.
The remix, yeah. Scholar of the First Remix, DJ of the First Sin. I can go with either one of those.
Yeah.
I honestly think that it's easier just to let public opinion do its work like it does currently.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, some people are going to get fleeced, but like, setting up some kind of like regulations, especially with Steam, man. I don't like the idea that Steam is able to do stuff because I think Steam should be like, I know that at the end of the day, Steam can just kind of do whatever the hell they want to, but I don't like the idea of them being able to just randomly be like, you know what, you kind of suck, so we're not putting your game up.
Well, but it's weird. It's because I've. Okay, so this is actually something that reminded me of something. There's a game developer. I'm not going to say what the game is because but I happen to be following this game developer on this game that they're working on, and they said, "Hey, we got greenlit on Steam. The game's not ready to be put on early access, but we're going to do early access.
Right.
We're going to submit the build we have to them right now because they requested that we do so, just so that they can see the progress update until it's ready to be on early access, until they have deemed that it's ready."
Okay.
And he's like, so we're going to send it to them, and we'll find out what they say and how much more work we got to put into it before we can release it on early access. Then the next week he's like, so I got the word back, it's on early access starting tomorrow.
Oh.
I don't actually think it's ready, but Steam is telling us we have to put it up now.
Yeah.
And and he even said, I don't think it's ready.
Yeah.
If you believe me, don't give us your money yet.
Right.
Because we weren't expecting to be put on Steam early access yet, and they told us that if we didn't put it on early access now, we would have to go through an entirely new submission process from scratch.
Yeah.
And apparently, I think it also may have cost them some money to submit for it. Like, there's like a fee for that.
There is. I think it's. And the last time I heard, it was something like $100 just to keep people from clogging Greenlight with crap.
And he was like, we would have to repay that again.
Right. Yep.
And he was like, so we're just going to put it up, but I'm going to tell you, do not buy this yet.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of respect for that developer for saying that. But he was like, I didn't expect them to want to put it up so soon. So I'm sorry.
It's funny because I think that a lot of times we're blind to the fact that like over the last call it like 3 years, we're really seeing some weird swings in like. I've read editorials on Gamasutra that make perfectly good case for like you should never do early access.
Yeah.
You should never let people see your game in a broken, fucked up, buggy state like that because it's going to be really hard to convince them that, no, now it's really good. You need to come back and check it out again, or that you'll get an influx of early access people buying it, and then that'll be like instead of having the idea of having one big launch where everybody's talking about like Bloodborne, right?
Yeah.
There's Bloodborne, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's talking about everybody's, message boards and blah, 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 as opposed to trickling out an alpha and then a beta and then update number 4
you
that
can
does
also
this
talk about, for example, DayZ. Everyone's fucking played DayZ at this point. I mean, I haven't, but everyone's played DayZ. It's been out on early access for goddamn ever.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's ever going to come out of early access, in all honesty, or if it has already.
I think it has.
But it's just like when it finally does or did release, I wouldn't fucking know because no one cares,
Right.
Because everyone's played it. Everyone knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. Like that's a good example of
it is still in early access.
But it's like once it comes out of early access, there's not going to be a big launch for that because the people who would have bought it at its launch have already bought it.
This is ridiculous. I just looked this up. I mean, like when you bring up DayZ on Steam, it says warning. It's big capital letters where the game description is warning. This game is early access alpha. Please do not purchase it unless you want to actively support development of the game and are prepared to handle with serious issues and possible interruptions of game. Released December 16th, 2013, 116,184 reviews, very positive. Like that's another thing is you start to ask yourself questions like, should Steam force you out of early access at some point? You can't just sit in early access forever. You can't just put that on your game and then just like you've stopped. Are you still doing active development on your game? Like I wonder what the last patch notes were for recent updates.
As of April 15th?
April 8th.
April
8th. Wow. Okay.
So today.
Boom. Yeah.
Or not today, but
yeah. They're still okay. They're still working on it. Great. Wonderful. I mean, I wasn't trying to like shit on DayZ. I'm just saying that like we're in a weird section between Greenlight and
my point was more of a thing of, was the conversely, like you talk about Bloodborne. Bloodborne didn't have a lot of people playing it before. It didn't have an early access. It came out and there's just everyone's playing Bloodborne. Now everyone's talking about Bloodborne.
Yeah.
DayZ, when it finally comes out of early access, who the fuck is going to be talking about it?
Yeah.
No one, because they've all been playing it since it's been in early access.
Yep. It's kind of like the number of people that played Minecraft before it came out. Of course, Minecraft's a bad example, though, because Minecraft is still selling. I don't even know how everybody doesn't already just own Minecraft. Like
they own Minecraft. They've bought it like 5 times.
Yeah.
Because they've owned it on the PC, they own it on a PS3, they own it on their Xbox 360, and now a PS4, and then also Xbox One, and
but honestly,
iPad.
The question here, should a company / game dev be allowed to release a game on Steam if they failed to meet the goals of their previous games? I'd be forced to say yes, because the alternative is very tricky and probably wouldn't work and would keep... I mean, I know the existing Greenlight procedures have kept people who have games that seemed interesting because they just can't... It's like a popularity contest, and they can't get enough of the people that are influential on Greenlight to greenlight them.
Well, and I would also even go as far as say, I think Steam does keep track of that. I think they do look at that, and they do look at your track record. Like if you've gone into early access before, did you meet your promises? Did your game come out of early access? And I think that was actually might have even been part of the thing with Double Fine, where they kind of went, we're not going to do early access anymore. We realize there's problems that we can't handle early access.
Did they ever like refund or apologize to people about that whole Space Base?
I think some people got refunds, but the apology was that you got a free copy of Hack and Slash, or if you owned Hack and Slash, you got a free copy of Space Base.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right, got a couple more questions, then we're going to be done. Next one here comes in from... These are short questions, by the way. Tristan, and I wasn't going to answer this one, John, but then when I figured out you were going to be on the podcast, I feel like you were the perfect person to answer.
Nice.
It says, dearest rage lords and ladies. Nick doesn't count as a lady. Oh, I guess he means, I was going to say, who are you talking about then? But Allison, Kayla, you know. What is the best way to turn down / reject a drink at a bar that isn't to your liking? Less an answer for myself, but a kind of PSA for younger viewers. Your fan, Tristan. Tristan, are you seeing? I read all the comments. I don't know if I've seen a rash of younger Rage Select viewers who are like, man, these guys are always trying to get me drunk in the bar. How do I not?
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
If you tell people that, hey, I don't drink,
Yeah.
or you know, I don't want to drink. I'm just here to hang out.
Yeah.
90% of the time, probably 99% of the time, the other people with you are like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
and I don't know anyone that's ever been like, no, we're at a bar and you're going to drink and take this beer.
I could say that I've experienced that a couple times in convention settings. In
True.
a convention setting where people know that I do drink, and so like if I told them I'm not drinking, I'm sure they would probably respect it. But it's like I've got a beer in my hand, and they're like, "Here, let me get you a shot." I'm just like, okay, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of just being like, I mean, yeah, if you are drinking and you're at a bar setting and you are drinking and you just don't want someone to buy you a drink and they're like, here, give you a shot, and then they hand it to you without even really asking you if you want it.
Yeah.
That I don't know. But I mean, for me, I don't drink alcohol, and it never fails. Every time we're at a bar or whatever, someone in the group is like, hey, man, you want me to get you a drink of some kind? It's like, what's your thing? Is it Jaeger? Is it this? It's like, I don't drink alcohol. You don't drink alcohol? No.
I try to get you soda. You
and then they'll look at me and be like, do you want like a Dr. Pepper or something?
Yeah.
And it's like you actually look at me and go, I know you don't drink, but do you want a soda or something?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll take you up on the offer. Sometimes I won't. It just depends on how I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one. Sometimes if you're just honest with them, just be like, hey man, thank you, but no thanks.
I'm trying to figure out, actually, I'm sorry, Tristan, I don't mean to I'm just trying to figure out, how do you turn down / reject a drink at a bar that isn't to your liking? So,
maybe he's talking about a drink that isn't to your liking.
Okay, so if you're you're at a bar with your friend, he comes back to the table and he's like, I got us all tequila shots, woo! And you fucking hate tequila. How do you turn that down? You just go, dude, I hate tequila. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Or, no. Or,
I'm sorry, I don't like tequila. I don't like Jägermeister. I don't like
for all my dead homies. Then you just pour the entire thing out on the ground.
Or you just kind of do the thing where you kind of look like you drink it, but you're actually throwing it over your shoulder,
pouring it on your shoulder, down your back.
You know,
Jägermeister, I wouldn't recommend
if you're
that.
outside, if you're outside, you chunk it in the bushes.
Yeah.
But make it look like you totally are downing it at the same time.
I would say that, okay, I'm trying to think of the various scenarios here. If it's a friend of yours, you should just be able to be like, dude, I don't drink tequila.
Yeah.
If it's not a friend of yours, you could be like, dude, I don't drink tequila.
You could also be like, dude, I don't know you.
If it's a stranger, you could be like, dude, I don't drink tequila. I'm trying to think of a scenario where dude, I don't drink tequila wouldn't be the answer. Or they say, well, what do you want? And you can go like, nah, man, I'm fine. Like, as far as I can tell, that's pretty universally
This beer in my hand is all I need. If you have a beer in your hand, if you're wanting to go sober, if you're like me, you can be like, nah, man, I'm not drinking anything tonight.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Be courteous. Don't be an asshole about it. Don't be
maybe 20-year-olds are a little bit pushier about that. Like, I guess if you're in like a frat or something, and they're all just like, yeah, chug it, bitch, and you're just like, no, that's all right. I'm gonna sip it, bitch. I mean, I don't know. I generally, in Austin, we have so many, just hard-drinking, hard-nosed, crazy alcoholics that it's like, I've never known of anybody that was, super, insistent that you have to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what was it? There was one of the gatherings of whatever that we've done, that I've been to.
Right.
I think there was someone who was like, John, I bought you this, alcoholic. I was like, I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
You don't drink alcohol?
Yep.
No, I don't drink alcohol. Okay, more for me, and then they walk off and drink it.
Yeah.
Like they literally had 2 beers in their hand. They're like, all right, more for me, and start drinking out of both bottles.
Yep.
And it was just like, that was literally it. And it was like, I don't drink alcohol at all,
Yep.
dude. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I've had to start declining. I can't think of any. I can't think of any scenario where just telling somebody to fuck off doesn't work.
like I said, just be polite about it.
Yeah. Just say no. That's all right.
Most
man.
people are pretty understanding.
Or if they're really insistent, if they want you to do a shot with them, I think that anybody who's a real life drinker
Yeah.
understands the fact that I will say to a person on their birthday, I'll go up to them and be like, let's do some birthday shots. What do you want? And they'll be like, I'm pretty cool with whatever. And I'll be like, are you sure? Do you want something? Something specific? And they'll be like, you pick. And I'll be like, okay, if you tell me to pick, I'm going to come back with Jägermeister. Are you okay with that? I'm going to do it. I give them 5 or 6 different, chances to back out of that. They'd be like, maybe just vodka. Cool. I'll be back in a minute, or, okay, I don't care. And then you know what you're getting into. But yeah, I can't think of anybody trying to force alcohol on you. That just seems weird.
Yeah.
Just seems weird. Anybody out there, Tristan, anybody in the world who, if they brought you a drink of something and you said, no, man, I'm cool, and then they started, razzing you about it, dude, fuck them.
Or try to get all offended, oh, you too high and mighty to drink, you too good for my drink. You'd be looking at him and go, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Prince of Ecuador. What you got? All right, one last question. This is a very strange one, John. So it comes in from Robin. Robin says, if you could choose any insane person to be the next U.S. president, who would it be? And may the Dong Lord sodomize your soul and ejaculate holy water all over you. Greetings from Norway, Robin. These are getting the Dongacles closings are getting a little bizarre for me.
They really are.
I need to
How did Norway get into that? Or is that he's actually saying he's from Norway?
Yeah, after that.
Or Robin is from Norway.
Robin says greetings from Norway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was part of the apparently Dongacles is from Norway or something.
Yeah. One insane person to be the next U.S. president. Kayla Cromer.
Yeah. But she's not really
She's
insane.
not really insane, no. I mean, Kayla's great. I love Kayla. I don't want that to come off. Kayla, if you're listening to this, you know I love you. You know I love you, all right? I'm just trying to think of insane people that I know. But I don't know that many insane people. I'm trying to think of insane people on TV. Like Crispin Glover, maybe? He seems pretty insane to me. He seems kind of off his meds from time to time.
I don't know.
What about crazy people in the news? Come on, John.
I don't know crazy people. I mean
ICP. Oh, my God.
Cloud Posse.
Jason would have to move out of the country.
Yeah, he would. If any of them became president, he would defect in an instant. Either that, or he would become. We'd have to find out what his middle name is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the only people that I can think of that are insane are on reality television. That's the only. I'm like, JWoww for president.
The Situation.
President Situation. He's not really insane, though. He's just a douchebag. But then I guess those people are all douchebags. To think oh, yeah, that lady with the cats on Hoarders. You know what one I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know.
There's 12 of them, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. No, it's like every other episode.
I know.
Hoarders is the worst.
It really is.
Oh, that lady that was scared of pickles that was on it was Maury Povich or something.
I have
and they just
no idea what you're talking about.
They showed her this video of pickles and she was just screaming like they were showing her distended body parts or something.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's the lady that I want to be president. Or what insane person? I don't know that many crazy people.
I don't know any crazy people either.
I don't know that many crazy people. So I'm gonna have to go with Kayla Cromer. I'm going to just come back all the way back around. Sorry, Robin. That's all I got.
I don't know him that well, but I don't know. He seems crazy to me in all the videos. Brian Brushwood? I don't know.
Brian Brushwood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian Brushwood. That works pretty well. Yeah. All right.
Crazy enough, it just might work.
It's so crazy, it just might work. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that's our show for the week. We're done here. If you've got questions, send them in to mail@rageselect.com. That is mail@rageselect.com. Do it now. We're not getting as many questions. And I need questions if we're going to keep the question thing questioning. John, we're done. Thank you so much for coming on.
As always. Pleasure.
And we'll catch you next week. And so, yeah, take a look out there for the live stream from last week. And don't just do us all a favor and don't spoil Game of Thrones for your Facebook friends until tomorrow. All right? Just hold on. You could do it. Just spend 12 hours.
I would say wait 2 days.
Not fucking talking about Game of Thrones. Just leave it alone for 1 second.